we should be live. I feel good, don't you? Alright. Bullseye, how's it going, man? Thank you. Yep, we are. Now that I'm back, we. I feel like that was a word. Now that we are back, we are putting the fucking jets on. Romero, how's it going, man? Thanks for coming. I know the time is probably fucked for you. Oh shit, that was so good. 2:15, almost 2 p.m. Okay, dope. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock. It's almost 5 o'clock for me, so this is like, relatively speaking, a good time. But honestly, personally, for me, this time is kind of fucked. Cause Nagato, how's it going, man? Thanks for coming. I know you said that you tried, but I'm sure the hour for you is fucked too. But I appreciate popping by, bud. Like, objectively speaking, 5 o'clock is great, but like relatively speaking, for me, it just kind of gets fucked because I prefer doing a stream in the morning, and then in the afternoon I can go pick up my niece from school, play a little bit with her, and then spend the afternoon making videos and going to the gym, and then at night doing another stream. But if I stream now, I can't play with my niece, I can't go to the gym, like everything just gets fucked. Midnight, yeah, not great. Midnight counter, fridge counter, washcloth. What pathway are you picking? As in what's my favorite? Or like if I was in the world of Lord of the Mysteries, which one would I pick? Sheet, towel, washcloth. My math exam is after 12 hours? Oh, fuck. Don't read the comments in your new vid. I just deleted one, which was a huge spoiler. I appreciate that, Romero. Washcloth, towel, sheet. Items in the linen closet. Okay, got it. Joker. Opposite. Counter. Revert. Hang. Oh, you're gonna be okay, Nagito. How do you feel in terms of readiness? That's the most important thing. Polar opposite? Yes. Gummy, hose, garter. What the fuck? Hose, garter hose, gummy, teddy, gummy bear, teddy bear. 7 out of 10? Okay. Might I recommend having this on the side and doing a little bit more studying? I don't want to overstep my bounds, but teddy, gummy bear, teddy bear. That can't be a thing, right? Fuck, no. No, Lord of the Mysteries comes first. Okay. Okay, never mind. Alright, fair enough. Slipped in, fridge, garter, teddy. I don't fucking know, bro. I already studied for... Oh, okay, yeah. Definitely don't study anymore. You're just gonna fry your brain out then. There's no point. Then studying, then eating, then sleeping very last if I have time. No, if you've already studied for 8 hours, I really wouldn't recommend studying anymore. I would just recommend eat while during the stream, and then watch as much as you can, or watch the VOD tomorrow. Either one's totally fine. And then just go to bed. Sleep is way more important. Like, even studies have shown, like, studying for an extra 2 or 3 hours does way less than sleeping for an extra 2 or 3 hours. Like, I promise. It's just go, like, if you study for 8 hours, at least for me, like, studying anymore would just fry me out. I get fuck all out of it. Dude, I don't fucking know what this is. Okay, 2 is pretty good. You know what? We take 2. Fuck it. Why not? Okay. Okay, there's like a 50% chance I can just get this. Quarter hose. Fuck. Lingerie. What? I'm gonna stay around for like an hour, then sleep, wake up and study for like 2 hours before the exam. Okay, that should be fine. It's my last exam this year. Yay! Look at that. You're almost at the end. Based. Card games based on the first letter chain. Jin. This is... Oh god, fuck this game. Okay. Alright, we'll get started in like 7 minutes. 5 o'clock even. Damn, the lingerie one was on my mind. No, I would not have gotten that ever. No shot. Je t'attends. Fuck, that doesn't work. This needs to be equal, and that's a 5, so that doesn't work. Okay, so 6s have to go here. 3. That works. But then I can't move this over here, because then that needs a 12. This is so cooked. There's 6 and 6. That has to stay because there's no other way to get 12. This has to be a 0, but I could put a 5 down there. But even if I put 5, I'll earn my freedom for 3 months. Nice. Okay, just get this back. Okay. No, actually, let's do this. Let's try this. This doesn't... Am I losing my fucking mind? There's no doubles anymore. So 6, 6 is a pair of doubles. 5 doesn't have a double. 0 doesn't have a double. 1 doesn't have a double. 2 doesn't have a 3 doesn't... How is this equal? This is fucking stupid. Nightwalker, how's it going, man? How you doing? This is so stupid. God, I hate this fucking game. Domain. Gotta switch the 6s? How does that do anything? Okay. Let's say I do that. Let's say I do that. Okay, how does that fix anything? Oh, there's a pair of 3s. Hold on. Oh, wait, maybe he was right. No, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I think I get it. Oh my god. Wait. That's fine. That one just has to be 1 this here. Greater than 5. Yeah. Oh, holy fuck. Who said? Oh, Bullseye, my fucking goat, dude. Oh my god, thank you. Oh my god. This life is a prison. Get me the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ. Okay. So 0, 0. So we can do this, and we can do... How many 4s? It feels like there's enough 4s for this to be the thing. Gee, how's it going, man? How you doing? I'm gonna do 4. We'll do another 4. Wait, no, that doesn't work. Hold on. Let me... No. Okay, let's move this down here. No, actually, this might work. Actually, fuck it. We'll stick to this. Six and 4. No, that doesn't work. Okay, I'm gonna get started in just 2 minutes, guys. Okay, yeah. That one doesn't really matter. Wait, hold on. No, wait. Okay, so less than 2. So this is that one. Greater than 3. So that one can be that one. That one, for example. So that all works. This works. Twos. So that works. That works. So this needs to be greater than 3. So this one doesn't work here. Greater than 3. Greater than... smaller than 2, so that's fine. Oh, these two don't work. Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Alright, we made it close. Okay? Okay, I think my notes are looking in... dare I say, decent order. I have not had the time to... to go back and put all my notes from 440. I will in time do that. Hopefully after today's stream I'll have time. If not, I might start stream a little early just for me for the second one. For my night stream, and then just do it then. But I do need to add, because 440 is just nothing but exposition basically, so I do need to add that. And then once that's done, the notes are looking in decent condition, dare I say. Okay, 441. Let us get started. I'm just going to change the title on screen really quickly, and then we will get on our way. It's 2:30 for you. Jesus Christ, I am so sorry, Nightwalker. Okay, this is not my normal time, okay? This is... You know what? I don't like placing blame on others, but today I'm going to place blame on Easy, okay? He took my fucking time. I kid, of course, but not really. Okay. Cheek. Was the primordial demoness also a man in the past? Klein almost raised his hand to his chin. He had once guessed that it was because of the existence of the evil goddess, the primordial demoness, that led to the assassin pathway, having members of the opposite sex turn into a female after sequence 7. Who knew that Roselle's diary would indicate that the primordial demoness might have been a male in the beginning as well? Please don't tell me the next stream is after 12. No. Kind of bad news for you, Nagato. It'll be in 6 hours from now. So you should be asleep. I better not see you there, okay? Go to bed. This depicted 2 problems. First, the primordial demoness wasn't a natural-born deity, and they only relied on potions to reach sequence 0. Second, the purely feminine changes in this pathway were inherent to its Beyonder characteristic. Roselle once speculated about the truth behind the law of Beyonder characteristic conservation. He suspected that all Beyonder characteristics originated from the true creator, so there's no increase, and that total number is conserved. Assuming that this is true, what does this mean? Does this mean that the true creator who created everything is all-inclusive, masculine, feminine, and gender-neutral all in one? Also, the Demoness pathway is a representation of pure femininity. Of course, not true creator. Dude, I always fuck this up every time. I always say true creator. Thanks for popping by, username. I hate to ask the obvious, but you do have notifications on, right? Alright, sounds good, man. Sleep is for weakling. I only need 4 hours and 1 iced coffee. Alright, good man. Of course, that ancient book might also be a fake. There's a lot of information in Roselle's entry today. With thoughts flashing through his mind, Klein let the diary disappear in his hand. You can begin. He smiled to Justice, Sun, and the others. Alder looked towards the world immediately. Your werewolf characteristic has been sold. Fuck yes! An artisan paid £1,200 for it, and according to our agreement, I will receive £200. £200? What the fuck? Also, I found clues to the hair of the deep sea naga, £100 a strand, and you want a total of 5 of them. If you're fine with this deal, then I'll complete it as soon as possible. Oh my god, I do have notifications on, it just doesn't notify me? That's interesting. If I'm honest, it doesn't not give me a notification, but notifications on my personal account are like really delayed. Like I'll get a notification like 2 hours after I stream, or like 2 hours after I post a video. It's like the weirdest thing. Klein had promised to share a higher share of the Werewolf Beyonder characteristic because he knew that the Hanged Man had spent more effort and had taken on a risk that far exceeded what Vampire Emlyn had spent. At this point, he thought for a moment and controlled the world to reply. No problem. Give me the 5 strands of the deep sea naga hairs and £500 in cash as soon as possible. Now, only the human skin characteristic remains, and the amount of money I have has increased to £1,235. Which isn't enough if I don't want to wait for the Hive Mind's exploration of the Amon family mausoleum. I'd have to wait to receive another £500 to £1,000 before I can buy it immediately. Klein subconsciously wondered what other items or knowledge he could exchange for money. Of course, this was on the premise that the target of these transactions was able to pay the remuneration in cash. Hearing this, Audrey raised her hand very slightly, and without hiding anything, she said, I'd like to purchase 3 ingredients. A pair of eyes from a mirror dragon, 50 milliliters of its blood, as well as a fruit from the Tree of Elders. That is interesting. Tree of Elders. I don't know, that makes me think like, I don't even know what it makes me, it could just be a fucking tree, like a tree species, but of elders makes me think like some old fucking, like old human ancestors or old ancestors of another species that's gone extinct or something. It's much easier to make your own Discord server in Pinkcore instead of username. Listen, we've all tried a lot. Username is not gonna join. I can't do anything to make him, so he's completely his own entity. So I mean, Miss Justice has gotten the formula from for the psychiatric potion. Klein made this judgment in an instant, and the Hanged Man came to a similar conclusion. I will write to my teacher and ask him if he has one of these ingredients. Forrest thought for a moment. Derek nodded. I'll also take note. Corroded mirror dragons aren't rare. Same for the Tree of Elders. In the city of Silver, there's also the suspected characteristic left behind by a psyche analyst. However, it's hard to make transactions for them, and it's easy to be suspected. Not like it's much better. Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. It's much better. Yeah. Psyche analyst was the ancient name of psychiatrist. When their conversation reached Klein's ear, he immediately manipulated the world and made the dummy hoarsely and gloomily say, I'll look around in my circle. Oh, right. Continue helping me find the human skin characteristic. All right. Audrey confidently turned her head to face the person opposite her. Mr. Hangman, I'll also look out for the wind blast formula you need. Milosh, how's it going, man? She had already joined the Psychology Alchemists and had a secret organization backing her. With them, many ingredients were no longer in short supply. She could obtain them as long as she paid the necessary price. Forbes repeated, "I'll write to my teacher and ask." Upon seeing this development, Klein felt rather gratified. After a long period of hard work, the Tarot Club had finally developed two major channels, the Psychology Alchemists and the Abraham family. Many things would be simple. And also the fucking Church of Storm. So just look at art, you know, look at last stream. Alright, sounds good, Milos. He also has the Church of Storm. He just doesn't put much stock into them, I guess. Well, I guess plus Alder doesn't really tell us too much, so. The world chuckled and said, "Your answers filled me with hope, but you must take care to protect yourself and proceed in a way that would avoid rousing suspicion so much." "Mr. World, you rarely talk so much," Audrey smiled. I got a little too pleased and momentarily forgot the world's original character profile. Klein immediately remedied the situation and made the world chuckle. "All of you have become sufficiently valuable. I hope that this kind of transaction can last for a very, very long time. That's why I'm reminding you." "Thank you," Audrey gracefully expressed her gratitude. At that moment, Derek hesitated and said, "I'll give it a try as well. I've recently completed several patrol missions, but there's nothing out of the ordinary." "Very good," Klein said to himself, making the world shut his mouth. Alder then looked thoughtfully at Miss Justice. "I would like to know the details of the assassination of Duke Negan. What kind of reward do you need?" Message hidden again. "Hey, Kami, how's it going?" "Why ask me? As someone close to the Church of Storm, shouldn't you already know the details of this case?" Audrey was surprised for a moment, then she understood the meaning of the Hanged Man's words. He wants to ask about the organization or force that instigated the Desire Apostle, but he doesn't think it's right to ask the fool directly, thinking that it would be too sudden and invasive, so he took a roundabout way of asking me to open the topic, gently shifting the focus to the things he wants to know. He knows I'm a noble lady and that I should pay attention to the assassination of Duke Negan, so he's not worried that I won't answer him. He really is experienced. "No, there's no need for compensation. Isn't the purpose of the Tarot Club to freely exchange common knowledge amongst each other? Only by doing so can our Tarot Club expand at a rapid pace," she thought to herself. "Your words shame me." Alder was stunned for a moment before he pressed his hand to his chest and leaned forward. Klein, who was shrouded in the thick grey fog, inwardly laughed. Audrey pursed her lips together and said, "The Desire Apostle used a unique situation to complete the assassination of Duke Negan, by using her ability to trigger intense emotions and desires at the cost of serious injuries. He successfully broke out of the encirclement, entering the sewers." Oh shit, sorry guys. Alright, we should be on live chat now, so if, Oh wait, Kami, fuck you, dude. Sorry, yeah, you're lucky that shit got hidden, bitch. When the Nighthawks caught up to him, he was already dead. The hero bandit was present. This gentleman didn't do it to silence him, but to target the organization that entrusted the assassination to the Desire Apostle. I didn't watch the VOD, so I'm gonna ask what's your opinion on Reader after the Desire Apostle incident. Reader was like dope as fuck. Plus, to know that that guy was so fucking clever that he was actually Duke Negan's assistant, but he was actually paid by the Hermit, secret organization, I can't remember the name. Like, that shit is cool as fuck. That being said, he's still a fucking nerd, but I mean, the powers seem cool. The powers in my mind seem like a broken version of Lawyer. Lawyer can, at least from what I understand, use the wordings of others against them, whereas a Reader is able to just say their own words and do their own shit, which it's just a better version. Twilight Hermit Order, yeah. Wait, the assistant wasn't a Reader? I thought for sure he was. What the fuck was he? We're talking about Isengard? Oh, I thought for sure the assistant was a Reader. Fuck that. Okay. Jesus. Isengard? I mean, Isengard is strong as fuck, but I also don't know. I don't know the assistance pathway. Okay, fine. Isengard seems strong as fuck, but the problem is I also don't know what strength of Isengard comes from himself versus the ring that he wields. Now, I want to be clear. The ring, which is of a sequence 6 of the reader pathway, is strong as fuck because it's basically the same thing as a shepherd. On principle, though, I still don't like anything that copies the powers of others. So, really cool power would be awesome to have. On principle, I am against it. I don't like the shepherd for the same reason. Really strong? I think you're a fucking coward if you take that one, okay? Develop your own skills. You're just gonna steal other people's? Fuck you. Which organization? Just as the hanged man was wondering to himself in puzzlement, the fool, who was sitting at the end of the table, silently praised Miss Justice and looked at her. And he gave a reminder in passing, in the outside world, do not mention the name of the organization or write it down. Also, lawyers can use their own words and actions too? Ah, interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. Because the only time that we really saw the lawyer pathway used was Mr. A when he was using his shepherd powers. And at that time, he used the quiet and leave us alone or whatever command from the ambassador. So I didn't know if he could use his own words too. But if he can, okay, that's cool as fuck. Well, a shepherd's got to kill someone if the pathway to take their abilities is not that much of a cowardly thing. Kind of. But like, shepherd is a sequence 5, I think. Right? Shepherd is a... What is it a 6? Yeah, it's a sequence 5. So like you're a sequence 5. You could just go about killing sequence 7s at first. And then get 7 of their souls, okay? That's crazy. And then with that you could kill a sequence 5 of a different pathway and then get their power. And then with that you have 2 sequence 5 powers and you could kill a third. And you could keep doing that way. But that doesn't make you strong. That just makes you have a busted ass power and you being a loser for taking that one. So, no, still on principle. Yeah, fuck that. I hate it. Why? Audrey blurted out in astonishment. Klein leaned back and replied in a gentle tone. Any mention of it will be known. Any mention of it will be known? Audrey subconsciously looked at Mr. Fool, only to feel that he seemed to emphasize something hidden with his eyes hidden in the fog. Mr. Fool is implying that if it's not in his kingdom or talking through him, mentioning or writing down the name of the order would allow them to sense it. What an extremely secretive organization. To a certain extent, it's even more terrifying than the Church of the Seven Deities. She then straightened her back and said, as you command. Plus, Shepherd should be stronger than any other copier at the same level, since Shepherd can steal their characteristics also. True. Yeah, but either way, anything that steals the powers of others is a no-go from me, okay? I think it's just... Yeah, and they're 500 times more likely to lose control because of this. The power, the price of power, right? That being said, anything that copies the powers of others is dog shit on my end, okay? Any mention of it will be known. A secret organization whose name can't even be mentioned. A name that I don't even know. Is this the faction behind the Desire Apostle? Mr. Fool has sent his blessed to search for them. There are even more secrets that I have no way of knowing. Alger slightly nodded his head, feeling both shocked and agitated at the same moment. You know what's scarier than... Good one. I'm a fucking child, okay? You give me a your mama joke, I will laugh. After succeeding my advancement, I could seek the opportunity to consult Mr. Fool. Alger made a note. A shepherd that grazed a sequence 6 reader. Oh, true. Yeah, but that's also kind of stupid, no? At that point, you're just... I mean, you get the same power, and I guess you don't need to kill people for it, but, I mean, yeah. Still kind of... However, after thinking about it carefully, he felt that there was no need for that. No, wait, sorry. At this moment, he had the urge to pay Mr. Fool for the name of the organization. However, after thinking about it carefully, he felt there was no need. Although understanding the situation involving the higher level entities would help him perfect his plans and play an important role in certain situations, he had no way of making contact with matters related to the mysterious organization. What he needed most right now was the formula and ingredients to the Wind Blessed, so he had to save up enough money. After succeeding in my advancement, I could seek an opportunity to consult Mr. Fool. Forrest was confused by what she had heard. Things like the Desire Apostle and the organization in which any mention of it will be known were completely different from what she had read in the newspapers. Nah, that way they would get one soul that can do multiple abilities, but they'll be weaker than the others. What the fuck? Oh, I'm sorry. What the fuck did you just say to me? That way they get one soul that can do multiple abilities, but they'll be weaker than other souls with their own abilities. I see. Yeah, but all the same, no. At that point, at that point, I would take, there's a lot of, I think if you could get the sequence 6 powers of a seer, that'd be hard as fuck. I think if you could get the, which other, sorry, let me finish this and then we'll think about the ideal loadout for a fucking, for a shepherd. There are indeed many secrets behind the assassination of the Duke. It's a pity that the organization's name can't be written down. Otherwise, I can use it as the villain of a future novel. It would definitely be a classic. I still owe 10 diary pages and haven't bought the Spirit Eater stomach pouch. There's no need to spend money in order to understand such high-end matters for the time being. Well, the secrecy and knowledge circulating the Tarot Club are 10 times greater than Mr. A's gathering. Or more. As for Derek, he didn't know who Duke Negan was, so he didn't care if he was assassinated. He sat there, silently and reserved, as though he were in class. When the matter regarding the Hermit Twilight Order was over, Forrest looked around and probingly asked, "Ladies and gentlemen, do you have a way to solve the problem of accumulating too many Beyonder characteristics of the same level?" Yeah, so... Sorry, just really quickly, let's just go through my notes and try to pick out what currently would look like the best... loadout for a shepherd. Okay, so you're a sequence 5 shepherd. Okay. Let's say no high sequences because that just seems like bullshit. So, Solar High Priest. Nah, that kind of seems like garbage. I know the names of these, but I don't know what the fuck they do really. I mean, Baron of Corruption seems like it'd be really, really strong. I think sequence 6 Devil, but to an extent it would also, or like Desire Apostle, but I think to an extent it would also depend how much it would mentally affect them, because I think a Shepherd needs to be really clever, and Devils are not known for that. They're known to be cold-blooded, but not clever, because they kind of go out of their fucking mind. But like if they can keep that kind of in check, sequence 5 of Desire Apostle seems based as fuck. Wraith seems fucking awesome because your survivability goes through the roof. You can turn into a spirit body. Just seems awesome. So you get one of each type. One pathway good at combat, one at mental, one at divining. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So like in that case, I would do a sequence 5 Marionettist if I can go up to 5. Marionettist is 5, right? I would do sequence 5 Wraith for survivability. I would do sequence 7 Witch. I don't know what the Conspirer gives. I don't know, so I'm gonna leave it for the moment. It might be really good, I just don't know about it. Solar High Priest also kind of seems not that great, so I'll leave it for the time being. I will go with, again, since I don't know Guardian, I'm going to leave it, but I'll take a Dawn Paladin. Obviously, Guardian would just be a better Dawn Paladin anyway, but I would take a Dawn Paladin because we see how strong Father Utravsky is, and I feel like he'd be based as fuck. That's 3, right? Is that 3 or 4? It might be 4. I don't actually know. Not taking anything of the Assassin pathway because fuck all that. If a Traveler would be based just for, again, for traveling ability, for being able, for like strategic retreats or whatever, that'd be based as fuck. Legit, which is pretty strong. You get yeah, but I already picked the Devil pathway, Devil Apostle, Demon Apostle, or whatever the fuck. So I would get anti-divination anyway, so it doesn't kind of matter. Man, imagine switching between a Dawn Paladin and the Devil. Exactly. Savant pathway just kind of seems like fucking garbage for the time being. Fuck that. Gains some combat ability at sequence 5. You can fuck right off. Psychiatrist might be good because with a Psychiatrist they can maybe prepare for battles better. 5. Folk of Wind Blessed, if you're ever fighting on the sea, I guess. 6. And then Scrolls Professor. We'll take that one just for intelligence. Yeah, I think that brings us to 7. I feel like that would be a bomb ass layout, dude. Savant is good for relying on others. Scrolls Professor would give you the ability to create charms and stuff, so they should be fine because old Neil at a sequence 9 of can help oneself not lose control. Nice. Okay. Nice. Okay. Sequence 6, because old Neil as a mystery prior was able to make his own charms and stuff, so the Scrolls Professor should be able to make like really good charms, so that'd be good. I sent some art in Milos's place. I don't have many spoiler-free ones, which don't ship Klein and Audrey. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. If there's no art, there's no art, guys. Don't worry about it either way. Okay. All right. Okay. That being said, we wasted enough time on that. Let's go. I mean, having a Savant as an ally can be very peak. Oh, I agree. Having a Savant as an ally would be great, but fuck it if I'm choosing that garbage. Listen, we know of exactly one person currently who took the who took that pathway and he regretted it. So fuck it if I'm choosing that. Exploration mission. Oh my god, he's gonna get it. So okay, so he's gonna get the human skin characteristic. Dope. Okay. Oh my god, he might advance this stream. That'd be based. Alder looked at Fours and returned with a question. You were forced to drink a second apprentice potion? How did you figure that out so easily? It's like you were there to see it. Yes, let's just pretend that's what happened. What solutions do you need? What do you need me to exchange for it? Alder glanced at the fool, but seeing that he had nothing to say, he replied in a calm tone. You don't need payment, because it certainly won't be able to satisfy your needs. High sequence Beyonders can independently decide whether or not to pass on their characteristics to their descendants and how much they will inherit. Sequence 6 and 5 Beyonders will naturally pass a part of it in an uncontrollable manner. Although the quantity isn't a lot each time and wouldn't affect the Beyonder's strength, their sequence will regress if they have enough children. Whoa, their sequence will regress if they have enough children. I guess that should have been like a logical throughput that I should have seen from what I read in Rozelle's diary, but I didn't consider that. Whoa. So like you pump out 8 kids and you're dropping down and you're becoming a low sequence Beyonder again. Such a child is born with high spiritual perception and a certain amount of incomplete Beyonder powers. Audrey suddenly came to a realization and understanding the origins of some special people. Yes, they're equivalent to half a sequence 9. With a certain amount of characteristic, if they want to become a Beyonder, they can only choose the corresponding path. Of course, such people might not be a result of an inheritance. It might be the result of them gaining the blessing of a deity or the corruption of an evil spirit. There are many factors that can cause the same degree of influence. Also, when high sequence Beyonders have children, they might give birth to someone who's already at a sequence 5. This is one of the rare instances when one can advance without losing control. So that's how it is. Audrey sighed with satisfaction. To her, knowing more mysteries and was more enjoyable than getting a new dress or jewelry. Then what about a Beyonder at sequence 7, 8, or 9? Theoretically speaking, their characteristic will not pass down to their descendants, but that's not absolute. If there's an excessive amount of Beyonder characteristic, there's a chance for them to be passed as well. That is to say, if you're pregnant with a child, there's a way to effectively reduce the remnant potion in your body. No, one might not succeed, but 3 or 4 will stand a higher chance. 3 or 4? 4 stood agape. But yeah, of course, you just told this woman to have like 3 or 4 kids. Wait, hold on. Didn't it say... I was under the impression that it said a mid-sequence potion, a mid-sequence Beyonder will pass down a certain amount of characteristic. But then it said a 7 may not necessarily pass it down. Why is that? 7 is mid-level even in the old days, right? Yeah. Not no chance, but low chance. Not no chance, but low change. Oh, I see. Oh wait, 6 and 5 are mids. 7 is. Oh, 7 is 7 is mid in the new days, but not in the old days. I see. Klein, who had learned all this general knowledge from Roselle's diary, couldn't help but think of a joke. Miss Magician, in the future, you can say to your children that you were a free gift from drinking a potion. Although it seems, according to Mr. Hanged Man, so theoretically, if Captain Dunn lived long enough to have a kid, his kid would almost certainly be born with some amount of characteristic because he had consumed so many of them, eh? Although it seemed that, according to Mr. Hangman, the burden can be reduced the moment the child is conceived, having a child would still require almost 40 weeks of trouble. No, more than that, it's impossible to leave the child right after birth. After grasping the acting method, even if the process subsequently becomes more difficult, 2 months will definitely be enough to digest it. It might not even take that long. After all, it's just a sequence 9. Forced to smile and said, I understand. The best way is still to rely on acting to digest it. Alder gave her affirmative answer. That's the case for sequence 7 and below. After that, the digestion would easily take a year or so, 2 or 3 years, and then up to 5 to 6. When that happens, giving birth to a child would be a simpler plan, he added inwardly. There were a few seconds of silence as the two women digested the knowledge they had just gained. This was the first time they had known that that having a child had such uses. What the fuck? That is the weirdest way to phrase that. For Derek, this was common knowledge. He adjusted his posture and said, I've been assigned another exploration mission. Where to? Alder asked. It's still the half-destroyed Temple of the Fallen Creator, Derek answered. It sounds like there's a certain guaranteed level of safety. Audrey didn't interrupt. Is the Shepherd Elder still in prison? Yes, this exploration will be led by the chief. The son didn't try to hide the facts. This way, the danger levels will be much lower than before. You can give it a try. More if the progenitor ingested more than... Yeah, exactly. So, like, Dunn's kid would definitely have, like, at the very least, like, half a sequence of a 9. Wait, he might even... Romero's saying he might definitely even have a 9. That's cool. Another one of Derek's horror missions. Oh god, poor kid. He consumed at least 4 sequence 9s. That's crazy. I guess it also makes sense. It did say that he has the power equivalent to that of a sequence 6, basically, right? This should be your last inspection before the surveillance is completely removed. Average Derek mission. Previously, the information you made known was that Amon is arch enemies with the Fallen Creator. They wouldn't mind exposing themselves to spoil the other's plans. This way, by heading to the Fallen Creator's temple for exploration, as long as you don't reveal any abnormalities, they will determine that you're no longer under Amon's influence. The Hanged Man sure is experienced. It's as if he was planning the operation. What else do I need to pay attention to? He asked. At the very end of the long bronze table, the fool who was quietly watching opened his mouth. Flesh and blood, ravings. Klein had only said 2 words, leaving the Tarot Club members to comprehend them on their own. Motherfucker, you said 4 words, little shit. This was the demeanor of a great figure. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. This was the demeanor of a great figure. The Hanged Man pondered for a few seconds, then said to the son, who had thanked the fool, in particular, don't look at what you shouldn't, don't listen to what you shouldn't, don't eat what you shouldn't, and don't touch what you shouldn't. Is he talking to a fucking 4-year-old? What the fuck is this? What are those that shouldn't be seen or heard? The Hanged Man said in a deepened voice, after entering the temple, everything is included. Then how should I explore? The Hanged Man chuckled. Aren't there other members? Isn't there a chief? It really is the Hanged Man's style. Audrey subconsciously wanted to cover her face with her hands, but the education and habits ingrained in her told her that such an action wasn't graceful. The son felt that such a method was quite unacceptable. Upon noticing his reaction, Alger secretly cursed before adding, "What I mean is to listen to your chief's instruction. Only do what he allows you to do. Any other times, do not take matters into your own hands." Get some bait and meat shields, kid. I understand. Thank you, Mr. Hanged Man. Miss Justice, I wish to know what the political changes in Backland after Duke Negan's passing. Duke Negan's death has divided the House of Lords. Although his eldest son is about to inherit the nobility title and become a member of the House of Lords, his prestige isn't enough to calm the dispute. Nearly 10 members of the House of the Lords have jointly proposed that a newly conferred nobility should also have a chance to obtain a fixed seat as a member of Parliament. Simply put, those who are conferred nobility through political donations, charitable donations, and the purchase of land become members of the House of Lord. After hearing this, the Hanged Man laughed. Aren't nobles with a certain amount of history in their family line the ones who despise such people who rely on unorthodox methods to be conferred a nobility title the most? Wasn't the ultimate honor and their greatest pride the fact that a fixed seat in the House of the Lords was hereditary? It's so true, right? Whenever you have a thing, it should logically mean like you wouldn't covet it as much because you'd be like, hey, I have the thing, I don't really need to worry about it. But instead, what it tends to become is like, hey, like I want this thing and I want it to be exclusive because like I want to feel like I'm special. So even though it should be a thing and you want others to, and you want to help others get it because you want to be helpful to others, instead you're like, no. Like, listen, no one else should have this, okay? Because like the fact that I have it makes me really special. It's like, humans are so fucked. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm better on a bad, I too am human. We all make mistakes and whatever, but it's like so fucking stupid. Like when you take 2 steps away and you're not personally vested, you're like, dude, that's such a fucking dumb way of doing things. But we all do. Ignoring the inadvertent mockery, Audrey calmly explained, when you have tens of thousands of pounds, hundreds of thousands of pounds, or even more debts, you will also make the same choice. Owing money wasn't a fatal threat to many nobles, but the debtor could apply to the court and use their lands as payment for the debts. Without the minimum amount of land needed for a title, their status as nobles could be on the verge of collapse. And then, Alger didn't continue to harp over the previous question. This kind of dispute has put many bills on hold, including, but not limited to, the raising of the worker's salary, improvement of working hours, revising the poor law. It's gratifying to see that the Civil Servant Unified exam is still progressing steadily and hasn't stopped, and the investigation into the air pollution in Backland is also going in depth. That's awesome! Okay. That's awesome. Okay, so Benson might get that job soon, hopefully. There will be no war for the time being, the Hinkman whispered. Worried that staying too long in the bathroom would arouse suspicion, Klein announced the end of the tarot gathering after they were done. After returning to her room, Audrey didn't rush to get up. She quietly sorted the things she needed to do after this. Looking at the mirror in front of her, she played with the accessories on her earlobes. With a slight smile, she silently muttered to herself, "There will be a psychology lesson tomorrow afternoon. I can tell Miss Escalante that I've met someone in the Beyonder circle looking to buy a human skin characteristic, and has promised an abnormally generous price for it. I wonder if the psychology alchemist would be interested. And also, I mustn't forget Roselle's diary and the Windbless potion. Yes, I have to find the psychiatrist ingredients as quickly as possible. Audrey, you can't be lazy. Susie is already at a sequence 8. You can't let her overtake you." Dude, actually Audrey's worst day. What the fuck? Audrey currently outranks Miss Magician. That's crazy. She's asking for more stuff from the psychology. Yeah, exactly. At this point, it's just her own personal piggy bank. Who the fuck even cares? After... Oh, fuck. No. Sorry, I accidentally went to the next chapter. After pacing back in her room, Forrest finally made up her mind and pulled out a chair. She grabbed a piece of paper and pen, and after mulling it over for nearly a minute, she began to write to her mentor. She described how she learned of someone requesting the characteristic of a human skin shadow and the Windbless potion, as well as her curiosity over the Roselle notebook. The capital of the Rorstead Archipelago, the city of generosity. Alger Wilson walked out of the hotel and headed for a secret underground market. His target was the hair of the deep-sea Naga. He had no intention of missing a human skin shadow if someone had it. "I'm short on money." Klein sat in the living room and sighed again. He still needed quite a bit of cash to ensure he could purchase the items directly when he received the clues regarding the human skin characteristic. Klein thought for a long time, wondering if he should go to other channels to sell the Beyonder characteristic left behind by the interrogator and stop waiting for Miss Gio to save up the money. After an unknown period of time, the sound of the doorbell rang, breaking the afternoon silence. Oh my god, he might advance even next chapter. Fuck yeah. Okay. Imagine other isekai MCs in Lord of the Mysteries. Call me crazy, but the truth is, Sang Jin-woo from Solo Leveling would do great in this universe. I said it. You know what? Burn me at the stake if you must, but it's the truth. Susie and Audrey tug of war who can advance faster. I feel so bad for Alger compared to Audrey. I feel so bad for Alger has to do all these big brain lays to do. True. Alger is running around. He's been a captain. Like, he had to advance through the ranks of the church. He's doing all this bullshit. And then Audrey just is like, "Nah, I take 10,000 pounds for it. Give it to me." Second one is your mom. Audrey just plays along. Here's where you're wrong, Ramiro. He would pick a fight with a high sequence Beyonder, but he would win. And then he would die, and then he would just pop the characteristic and immediately become a high sequence Beyonder. Okay, it would be like chapter 7. No, no, Nightwalker. Too stupid to die, okay? Too stupid to die. You don't understand. Sung Jin-woo, by the end of Solo Leveling, is unironically, like, multiversal level of strength, because he's the god of death, so you don't, like, fuck off. The visitor was a man in a dark green postman uniform. He smiled at Klein in a fawning manner. "Are you Mr. Sherlock Moriarty?" he asked. Yes, Klein could vaguely guess the purpose of the other person's visit. The visitor raised his right hand and handed over a palm-sized item that was wrapped in a layer of black gauze. Please sign and accept your package. Klein deliberately revealed his doubts. Shouldn't you give me a slip and let me go to the corresponding post office for collection? The Lone Kingdom's postal service was a perfect replica of the Inta system, and even the flaws were copied quite significantly. Anything that couldn't be stuffed directly into a mailbox, no matter what it was, would only be given a collection slip by the postman, making the recipient go through the hassle of collecting it themselves. Because it's rather precious, I have to personally deliver it to you. It seems you're not professional enough to be a real postman. Without further questions, Klein accepted the package, pen, and slip before signing them. He closed the door and returned to the living room. He didn't rush to open the package, but took out a gold coin and threw it into the air. Klein caught the gold face and looked down to see if it was heads or tails. A number faced up, indicating a negative response. There's no latent danger. Klein nodded slightly and put away the coin. He touched the paper figurine in his pocket and carefully opened the package. He wouldn't even get to a high sequence. He would just look into something he shouldn't and die. Also wrong, Nagito. He would look into somewhere where he shouldn't and somehow gain the powers of a high sequencer. I don't even know how that logic works, but that's what would happen, okay? If he survives a high sequencer, then just send an angel. Bro, I just said in my theory that he would kill a high sequencer as either a sequence 9 beyonder or a non-beyonder. And you think as a high sequencer an angel could kill him? Get the fuck out of here. Kami, you know I'm kidding, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, he is intelligent enough to survive in the verse. As for all the fight stuff, yeah, I'm of course kidding, but... After one layer of another black gauze was removed, the object inside clearly presented themselves to him. They were pale gold-colored, elegantly patterned pocket watch, a handkerchief stained with a dark red blood, 7 or 8 brown short curly hair tied together, and a stack of notes. Talam's belongings, his hair, his blood, and his daily records are all present. Prince Edisak sure is an efficient man. It's not even nighttime. Klein looked at the items on the coffee table and suddenly felt there were many people staring at him at that very moment. An ancient angel family with a heritage of more than 2,000 years would definitely have an unimaginable background. Being involved with the royal family's internal strife makes it possible to be pulverized at any moment. Jesus Christ, that is a terrifying thought. Maybe I'm already being monitored now. I have to appear mediocre and useless enough to ensure my safety. During the process, his spiritual intuition didn't give him any warnings, nor did it prevent him from attempting divination. After having a better grasp of the situation, Klein took out a letter, picked up a pen, and wrote his divination statement, the true cause of Talam Dumas' death. He acted big-hearted and poised, as though he didn't feel that he was being monitored at that very moment. He picked up the curly hair and handkerchief. Klein chanted the divination statement while leaning back against the back of the sofa. His eyes turned deep as he entered cogitation. After repeating it 7 times, he came to the dream world and saw a familiar lobby of the Quelaag Club. And then he saw Talam Dumas clutch at his chest, and his face contorted once again. This revelation shows that Talam did die of a sudden heart attack disease. He opened his eyes and muttered. He frowned, wearing a puzzled, confused, and thoughtful expression. He tried several times with several divination statements and received the same result. He got up and paced back and forth several times. Bro, Sung Jinwoo is dumber than the fucking mailman. I love this. I literally can say at least 500 reasons he will die, but all of them are spoilers. Also intelligent. Don't make me laugh. Okay. You know what? Fuck it. There's no point. Okay, there's no point. I'm not going to argue this anymore. Okay, fuck it. He punched himself in the head as though he was angry that he wasn't good enough to help his friend or find out who the culprit was. This is your go? He's punching himself in the head. Look at this guy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm gaslighting all of you today. In the end, he dejected, sat down, and didn't move for a while. That should be enough. I can't go overboard. If there's no one monitoring me, then I would have been fighting with air just now. Klein got up and walked to the kitchen. After dinner, he seemed to perk up before he read the stack of notes carefully, including what Talam had done and who he had met with on the day and the days prior to his death. Home, Red Rose Manor, Quelaag Club, Viscount Conrad's mansion, nothing out of the ordinary. Klein picked up a sharpened pencil and drew circles, marking out the places he would visit and the targets he would ask about in the next few days. After doing all this, he let out a long sigh. Without confidence, he packed up his things, washed up, and went to bed. In the middle of the night, when the red moon was hidden by layers of clouds, Klein suddenly opened his eyes and woke up. He got out of bed, opened the door slowly, and went to the bathroom next door, hiding himself with a paper figurine substitute in the process. Walking 4 steps counterclockwise, he arrived above the grey fog. His eyes became clear, no longer dispirited, dejected, and pessimistic. Soon after, Klein took out a blood-stained handkerchief from a hidden pocket in his pajamas, made out of old clothes. When he was packing up his things, he used his beyonder powers as a magician to hide the handkerchief on his body. After taking a deep breath, he conjured a pen and paper and wrote down the divination statement. The true cause of Talam Dumas' death. After he repeated it 7 times, with his body in peace and quiet, he leaned back and fell asleep. In a grey, separated and illusory world, Klein saw a completely different scene from before. Presented before his eyes was a palm-sized wooden puppet, carved with eyes, a nose, and a mouth. There were a few drops of red blood on the puppet's body, giving it a demonic appearance. Oh, Romero, hold on. So the end of Volume 2 is like what the fuck? Like 483, 484, something like that, right? So we are, by the end of today, we should be like 35 chapters away. So how do we want to structure those streams? You said we can do like 2 streams of 15. Does that still work? So like, if we wanted, we could do 2 streams of like 15 and 17 or something tomorrow, and just be done Volume 2 tomorrow if we wanted. Or better yet, okay, hold on, let me finish this. Okay, no, fuck this. We're in the middle of the chapter. I can just do it right now. Fuck it. Okay. Can someone, what the fuck am I doing? Can someone get me the number for 8-hour stream like Easy did? Fuck you. No, I'm not doing that. 470 to end of Volume 2 needs to be done at once. Yeah, that's fine, Kami. No worries. That's like 13 chapters. That's no issues. Okay. So currently, today will end at 449. Can someone get me the exact number where it ends? I think it's 483 off the top of my head. I might have that wrong, okay? So that is 34 chapters. Okay. So 470 to end should be together. Okay. So, 482? Okay. 33. Okay. So in that case, do we want to, so when we end at 449 today, or this stream, do I want to do a night stream and get to like, is it 482? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Is it okay if I do it for a night stream and get to like 458, let's say? That number can be adjusted like by 1 or 2. That's kind of no problem. And then get there, and then tomorrow we do from morning stream from 50 to 70, and then 70 to 82. Would that work if we do that? Or like, so like, I'm just giving you these numbers to let me know, like, because I don't want to leave off in like a really shithole place at like 4:58 tonight or something, and then or something like that, right? So ideally 4:58 to 4:63. I can't go with night streams. Okay. Yes, sir. Freedom. Going to speak. Okay. Okay. So what if on tonight's stream we just do 450 basically, because we'll finish for what the oh, this is so fucked. Okay, this is gonna look so bad, but what if we do 450 to 457 on tonight's stream, and then tomorrow we do 57 to 70 in the morning, and then 70 to 82 at night. Just change. Well, what the fuck, guys? Okay, you two are saying conflicting things. What the fuck? Okay. Okay, if we go to 4:59, then fine. Okay. 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 I'll leave it there. We can talk more, and if someone has like thoughts or something, we can talk in Discord. Okay, that's fine. I don't want to just hold up the fucking stream at that point. Oh, for fuck's sakes, fine. 7. Okay, that's fine. Okay, we can do that, and then that way tomorrow we can finish volume 2. Let's go. Scoreboard. Yeah. Okay. Presented before his eyes was a palm-sized wooden puppet carved with an eyes, nose, and mouth. Then we can go to 448 today. Oh, sure, yeah, we can go to 448 and then go to 457 tomorrow, and then everything is fine as long as the last stream won't be a night one. Yeah. Okay. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Okay, you know what? We'll figure out the chapters, like the one chapter or whatever, 1 or 2 chapters. We'll figure out we'll figure out into the Discord. As long as it's not a night stream. Fuck's sakes. Okay. How do we do this then? Because it'd be 2 streams, which would necessarily mean... Yeah. Yeah, okay, I get that, Nagito, okay. Hold on, presented before his eyes was a palm-sized wooden puppet carved with eyes, a nose, and a mouth. There were a few drops of dark blood on the puppet's body, giving it a demonic appearance. A palm stretched out. The skin was white, exquisite, and smooth, with 5 slender and delicate fingers that accentuated the hand's flesh and bones. The most eye-catching thing was a unique ring with an inlaid sapphire on the hand's pinky. The hand's index finger was wreathed in black flames as it pointed to the heart of the wooden puppet. Without a sound, the scene shattered and Klein woke up. His initial judgment wasn't wrong. Talum did die from a curse. But there was a problem. He had already seen the scene of the curse happening. So why wasn't the scene displayed in its entirety? Even this mysterious space above the gray fog is able to get rid of all interference. Normally speaking, receiving a revelation that was too abstract and easy to misread was a problem with his limited divination skills. It meant that the difficulty of the matter he was defining was too high, and that it had nothing to do with the gray fog. It was an understandable outcome. But he had clearly seen the scene of the murderer's curse, but was limited to a small scope. It didn't provide relatively effective revelation. Have I encountered such a situation in the past? Suddenly he sat up, remembering a similar experience. In Tingen, when he was divining the real reason behind the countless coincidences, something similar happened. He could clearly see the house with the red chimney, but couldn't reach Inzongwil and Artifact 008. This is the power of someone or something that's at the level of a god artifact, or a Grade 0 sealed artifact that's resisting the power of the Grey Fog. No, not necessarily. There are still quite a few possibilities. I have to confirm it again. He put a lot of effort into calming down. As for the method of divination used for confirming, it wasn't daunting for the experienced him. The method was simple, redoing the same divination again. If the revelation doesn't change, it means that things aren't so terrible, and if divination is no longer successful, then something or someone is resisting the Grey Fog. Taking a deep breath, he repeated the divination statement and leaned back. In the dream, all he could see was a hazy, shattered grey fog. No more wooden puppets or fingers. What did Talim get himself involved in? There's no question as to what I should do. It's to be passive and perfunctory. I'll lie to the prince before telling him that I'm incapable of finding the truth. This world is really scary. Just the slight bit of carelessness would cause me to come into contact with something extremely terrifying. Oh, I'm starting to get why Volume 2 ending is going to be dope as fuck. We might for the first time get to see High Sequence Beyonders fight. Or, because whoever has this Grade 0 artifact has got to be an extremely powerful person, even if he's a Sequence 5 Beyonder with a Grade 0 artifact. That is strong as a motherfucker, because that's where Inzongwil was in Volume 1. That guy was, Jesus Christ. So maybe he's going to have to eventually fight him, but obviously he can't fight him by himself. He'd get fucked. So whoever the angel or whoever the Prince Edisac has watching over Klein is going to help him fight this guy. Oh, holy fuck. This might be dope as fuck. We might get our first actual introduction to a High Sequence Beyonder. Klein stood at the edge of the crowd. Tuesday 9 a.m. at the Crown Cemetery. Klein stood at the edge of the crowd, wearing a black shirt, black vest, and a black tweed coat while he was carrying some fresh flowers. He looked gravely at Talim Dumas' coffin being carried over, had his soul put to rest, and was buried bit by bit into the earth. During the process, Talim's mother's eyes were red and swollen. He wanted to speak a few times, but he couldn't gather her voice. His father's hair was grey, and his expression was haggard. He just stood there, trembling. When the scene reflected in his eyes, Klein tilted his head and closed his eyes. He waited for the mourners to leave before he walked over, bent down, and placed the white flowers on top of the others. "I'm sorry," he said inwardly. Standing up, he stepped aside and was about to leave when Klein noticed reporter Mike and Surgeon Aaron come closing in. What a pity. I never thought that Talim would actually... Mike's expression was pained as he couldn't finish his sentence. Aaron, who was always cold, took off his glasses and wiped the corners of his eyes. He's a warm-hearted guy. He shouldn't have ended up like this. Yes. He could have gotten rid of his grandfather's reputation, Klein echoed. Just then he saw a female figure in a thick black dress with a veil covering her face walking up to Talim's grave. She too was crying while carrying a bouquet of flowers. Why do I think this is Miss Bodyguard? Is that weird? Klein looked away, not paying much attention, just keeping watch through the corner of his eye. The woman bent down to release the flowers, revealing her left palm, which was covered by a thick gauze glove. A blue gem faintly appeared on the pinky of her left palm. Klein's scalp tingled instantly. His entire body felt numb. Okay, it's not Miss Bodyguard. It's the person who killed Talim. Who the fuck is this? 444. Confession. Oh, come on, Klein. Become Sequence 6. You're killing me here. Motherfucker, I thought this was supposed to happen like 5 chapters ago. I would have bet money this happened by like 5 chapters ago. What the fuck? Talim died. Oh well, he's dead. You're not. Get it together. You can tell I'm a very, I'm a very warm-hearted person. A similar feeling that wasn't unfamiliar. The experienced Klein immediately used his clown powers to control his expressions and without trembling his body. Without rushing, he retracted his gaze, making the casual glance. Talum was so young. He wasn't even married and had no kids, Klein sighed. He said this because it gave him plausible explanation for the subtle reaction towards the woman who had offered the flowers. He had turned sad, having seen a woman who had some connections with Talum, associated her to marriage and family. Yeah, actually, at his age, he should have been married for 4 or 5 years ago. Unfortunately, the matter with his grandfather left him with an extremely strong psychological trauma. He always rejected marriage, and only recently did he improve. At this moment, the seemingly normal Klein seemed to have a cluster of thorns stabbing at his back, and slowly pierced into his skin and flesh, causing him to feel extremely tense. The girl in the black dress with the sapphire ring on her left pinky had straightened her body and calmly surveyed her surroundings. Afterwards, she quietly left Talum's grave with 2 maids accompanying her. She silently walked further and further from Talum's grave. Klein secretly heaved a sigh of relief. The feeling of being stabbed in the back had turned into a cold sweat. Just who is she? And why did she come to the grave to offer flowers? Talum's lover? However, how could Talum, who had no wealth or status, have a terrifying relationship with someone who was involved with a grade 0 artifact or that of a demigod? This isn't a novel. Furthermore, she should have been the one to... She should be the one that used a curse to kill him. This matter runs deep. His thoughts quickly dispersed, feeling that the most puzzling thing about this matter was that Talum's death, an ordinary person who had no money, power, status, or strength, involved a grade 0 artifact or a powerhouse of that level. But this isn't an isolated case. Similar things have happened around me before. Klein looked at the surgeon Aaron. This ordinary person's home might very well be hiding a sequence 1 snake of mercury. Jesus Christ. Klein is just a fucking magnet for all sorts of Beyonder bullshit. When is next stream? 5 hours from now, Kami. The stream should end in 2 hours, maybe a little sooner even. Maybe an hour and a half if I'm really pushing, but let's say 2 hours, and then stream will be 3 hours after that. Following this train of thought, Klein recalled the nearly 5 months he had spent here since he transmigrated. He was too stunned to discover that he had unconsciously become involved with many demigods, and terrifying artifacts. The woman who killed Talum, the Snake of Mercury, Will Ossepton, the blasphemer Amon, the mysterious woman at the Royal Museum, a high sequence Beyonder of the Rose School of Thought, 008, 142, Ing Zongwil, the mutated sun emblem, the indigenous family notebook, Azek Eggers, Mr. Dor, the Twilight Hermit Order. Everything flashed through Klein's mind. He then calmed his heart and thought, these don't involve the true creator or EBS, who are ranked high above these. Strictly speaking, I can be considered to be among their ranks. After all, I come from a dark divination, and I'm a strange alternate world soul who controls the grey fog. Could this be another crest of time after Roselle? So all the demigods and terrifying sealed artifacts are making an appearance in real life? Fine, I will not sleep. Okay, sorry, Nightwalker. If you guys want, and this depends on if Easy is streaming tomorrow or not. If Easy is not streaming tomorrow, then we can do a morning stream at regular time at 11, and then do another stream at the same time I did today for the second stream to finish out Volume 2. Or I can do it at night, which is in my time 11 o'clock, but again, it's always going to be like a balance of like a couple people are always not going to be able to make it. It's just like he calmed his After these thoughts flashed through Klein's mind, the grief-stricken reporter Mike and Surgeon Aaron excused themselves. He then left the cemetery at a leisurely pace. There will always be some people that can't make it. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't exactly love doing it at this time because it kind of fucks up the rest of my day. But like, if I have to do it for a day, it's not the end of the world. But again, it's literally a finding a balance of like, hey, either some people are not going to be able to make it or others are not going to be able to make it. It's like, I don't know how to make that call, you know? Just as he looked out for a rental carriage, a familiar carriage drove out from a secluded spot and stopped in front of him. The coat of arms was skillfully concealed. Klein was able to recognize it as Prince Edisac's carriage. His Highness is waiting for you. All right. Prince Edisac was dressed in a dark blue coat with a large collar and a golden ribbon across his chest. I'm restricted even when participating in the funeral for a friend. I couldn't appear in person and could only watch from afar, sending someone to offer flowers for me. This is the royal family's lack of freedom. If Talim's grandfather hadn't lost his title, then he wouldn't have to avoid anything. I originally planned to find an opportunity to help Talim's father recover his title, but unfortunately... Sherlock, did you receive the package? Yes. Any progress? I made several divinations, but all of them led to the conclusion that he died of a heart attack. Klein used his emotionless, smooth narration to imply that my sequence isn't high enough, my standards are limited, and although my divination is good, other parties are stronger, and I'm sure that I can't figure out the truth. Edisac looked disappointed and sighed. How do you plan on continuing the investigation? Starting with the people that Talim came into contact with a few days before his death and the places he went. There will definitely be no lacking of threatening interrogations or bribery. Pay Sherlock £100 for his investigation fees? Yes, Your Highness. £100 straight out the gate? I'll do my best. He took the £100 in cash and pocketed it without counting it. Yeah, I sure fucking hope so. Prince is giving it to you, motherfucker. Don't count that shit. That's embarrassing as fuck. We did a poll. We have a unanimous win for the next stream to end at 4:59. Dope. All right. Okay, let me readjust my readjustments. Fuck this. Okay. So in that case, we will go to 4:49 today, or right now, just to make next stream a little bit shorter. I'm gonna leave after like 2 chapters and sleep for 5 hours and wake up for the next stream. Perfect plan. Okay, sounds good, Nagito. I'll just stay until 8 a.m. for the next stream. So this is a nice one. Okay, Jesus. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, we can do 4:15. I don't care either way. He turned his head to look out the window at the Crown Cemetery, which wasn't too far away. His friendship for Talim still remained strong. In the Empress Borough, the opulent villa of Earl Hall. How many fucking times do they say the opulent villa of Earl Hall? Motherfucker, just say it's the home of Earl Hall. I understand they're rich. What the fuck? Audrey looked at her psychology teacher, Miss Escalante. I recently joined a new Beyonder gathering. They were offering high offers for a human skin shadow characteristic and a wind blessed formula. Different people. They're likely mid-sequence items, right? Will the psychology alchemists be interested? I'll ask when I return. All right. Escalante retracted her attention and said in a serious tone, Miss Audrey, although you're already a Sequence 8, you have yet to receive formal education. You still don't understand about the techniques and applications of a spectator and telepathist, as well as the foundational theories. Starting today, I'll guide you to become a true Beyonder. That's what I wish, Audrey said sincerely. The huge golden retriever, Susie, who was sitting by her feet, wagged her tail happily, as if happy for her mistress. Gotta flex on him. Very important that you remember the opulent villa of Earl Hall. Bro. Having made up his mind not to work, Klein took the carriage home. He opened his door and was about to take off his hat when he froze. His spiritual intuition told him that a stranger had entered his living room. He barely hit his tracks. Is it considered a warning? Having a warning is better than not having one, I guess. Immediately, he turned around and went to the steam cathedral in a rental carriage. The cathedral towered over the chimneys and clock towers, the former representing the power of steam, while the latter represented the beauty of the machinery. It was neither the weekend, nor noon, or the evening, so there were only a few devotees. Klein stood in the middle of the hall, leaned his cane and took off his hat, and pretended to pray for 10 minutes. He then picked up his things, walked to the aisle to the altar, and said, "I wish to make a confession." "Good. God is watching you." The bishop, who had a kind face and hoary hairs at his temples, Jesus Christ, walked to the confessional by his side. "I confess that I didn't adhere to my principles when facing danger and chose to retreat." "What were you thinking at the time?" Klein immediately described in detail about Talem's death, his suspicion, the reminder from the hive mind, Prince Edisac's entrustment, and how he had failed to obtain any answers from divination. And he expressed his heartfelt cowardice at the face of the royal family's strife. The reason he didn't go straight to Carlson was that he was afraid that he was not only being watched, but that Prince Edisac's men were also watching him from the shadows. Once he made his intentions clear, he couldn't be more sure if he would encounter another calamity. The Steam Cathedral was the headquarters of the Church of Steam of the God of Steam of Machinery and of the God of Steam and Machinery. My fuck, that is such a long name. Holy fuck. And it was one of the 3 holy temples. No one could spy on whatever happened inside. What Klein intended to do was use the church to convey his true thoughts and avoid getting caught up in a deeper conflict. To put it simply, it was to comply with what his heart wanted. The bishop listened quietly and answered without changing his tone. "Your choice derives from human instinct. God will not blame you. Go back. God will protect you." "That's good." Klein understood the hint and left the cathedral. Standing on the street outside, he looked at the sky and sighed silently. "I need to advance as soon as possible." Motherfucker, when is this happening? If this doesn't happen in today's stream, I'm gonna be so ticked. Or if it doesn't happen in this stream, fuck it. It has to happen by the end of next stream. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind if it doesn't. You know what? Divination time. Fuck it. I haven't done that in like the past 2 streams, which is wild, okay? Divination Club. Does Klein gambling time? Fuck yeah. Let's first get our paycheck first, because I'm poor as fuck, okay? Okay. Does Klein advance by the end of the stream? I'm putting it all on the line. Oh no, 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 God, you can't do this to me. No, I lost everything. I have nothing and no one. Oh, come on. What the fuck? God damn. Oh, we're so cooked. Okay. Live broadcast. Lightning streaked through the sky, illuminating the pitch black city walls. Carrying a leather bag on his back and the axe of Hurricane in hand, Derek stood outside the doorway to a cave with nearly 10 of his teammates. Lifting his eyes up, he saw that between the stone cracks of the city wall, the dry and hardened black soil was crusting. But a bunch of tenacious weeds had grown out, and they were densely packed and resembled human hair. What the fuck? At that moment, he hurriedly withdrew his gaze and looked towards the city gate when he heard light footsteps. As the lightning and darkness alternated, a tall man slowly walked over, carrying 2 straight swords which were crossed on his back. Oh, the chief. I know the chief has 2 swords because he is like a 1-to-1 fucking copy of Geralt from Witcher. Then his pale, disheveled hair and ancient eyes, his twisted, deep scars, and his perennially unchanged brown coat and flaxen-colored shirt entered Derek's gaze. The other person approaching was the chief of the council, Colin Iliad, a powerful demon hunter. After greeting him, Derek subconsciously looked at the chief's waist. There was a leather belt divided into many compartments, each with a different metal bottle inside. This was a symbol of an experienced and powerful demon hunter. Lower accurate gambling experience? Not for me, bro. I never win. I never lose all or nothing. So that was crazy. That was some fucking... Although, to be honest, I shouldn't have done that, because in this shithole, when I flip a coin, there's like a 20% chance that it comes up on sideways. So it was kind of dumb. But yeah, all the same, it was fucking ridiculous, okay? Derek had previously heard the parents mention that demon hunters were good at discovering the weakness for different monsters, identifying the use of various materials, and were able to use special cogitation state against the former. With the latter, they could concoct corresponding magical medicine, ointments, essential oils, and imprints. Then, through consumption, smearing, and using these items, they could achieve the effect of restraining the target. So a demon hunter is, in a lot of words, they're a witcher. Dude, it's actually crazy how often I get sideways. I'm not kidding. Like, I get a crazy... yeah, I'm gonna copy paste it. I'll put it under... Where is Demon Hunter? I got Geeky to swap songs. Hold on. Sorry. I got Geeky to swap songs every time we switch to Derek's POV. It doesn't really matter since it's short. Dude, oh, that's actually a good idea, Kami. I should find like a theme song for all the members of the Tarot Club. Like Audrey's can be some like really nice violin bullshit. I don't know what Forza's looks like. Alder's looks like some crazy fucking, I don't know, some like shanty music or or some fuck. The Suns is just the most dark shit I can fucking get my hands on. I don't know what Forza's looks like. But oh, that's actually a really good point. The world is world is white. Benitez for Jarek mostly. World is I don't what does that mean? Wait, hold on. Sorry, where was I? Forest song might sound like poverty? No, that's gotta be Klein's. World is white song. Oh, I see. Okay. Thank you, Kami. And thank you, username as well. Derek, yes, okay. In a sense, experienced, knowledgeable, well-prepared, and sharp demon hunters were the nemesis of the vast majority of monsters. The amount and variety of small metal bottles at their waist represented their experience. Of course, this was only a portion of the demon hunters beyond their powers, and just relying on these, they couldn't be called demigods or saints. Colin looked around and confirmed that everyone was present and said in a low voice, "Light up, let's go." Two team members immediately lit their candles in their lanterns, with letting the faint yellow light shine through the extremely thin leather. During daytime, when the frequency of lightning was relatively high, there was no need to use candles in the City of Silver, as there was illumination every 2 to 3 seconds. Furthermore, the monsters in the nearby area had been cleaned out again and again. However, once they left the City of Silver and entered the darkness, they had to maintain sufficient candlelight. Otherwise, once the lightning failed to illuminate the skies, causing a dark environment that exceeded 5 seconds, there was a high chance for the team to suffer an assault from by certain monsters. Intense fighting wasn't the most frightening development. What Derek remembered so vividly was the story of his parents. Gonna be "Here Comes the Money." Yes. No, I was thinking like some elegant violin or something would be more in line with her. Once Here Comes the Money would be like, four. That would be good for fours, because, and then it just and then it keeps playing, but because the money is coming, it just never actually seems to arrive. Once they were exploring the depths of the darkness because of a previous battle. The candles couldn't be replaced in time. This led to them to endure being engulfed in darkness for as long as 8 seconds. When the lightning flashed again and the candlelight appeared, they were stunned to see that only 5 of their original 8 teammates remained. The other 3 had vanished in silence, never to be seen again. Taking a deep breath, Derek gripped the axe of Hurricane tightly and walked in the middle of his team, following the chief. The bolt of lightning flashed, causing the plains covered in the tall grass to appear like an eerie oil painting. The exploratory team of 10 Beyonders walked along the path filled with craggy gravel, venturing deep into the black grass. The lightning subsided, and the dense darkness instantly washed over them, and completely engulfing them. And the dense darkness instantly swept over. The yellow candlelight pierced through the leather and weakly swayed to and fro, guarding the surrounding area. Now, Forrest is just the sound of pen writing. Oh god, get the fuck out of here. Money has been chasing Forrest, but she's always been too fast. Now, the original was something like wisdom has always been chasing you, but you've always been really fast or some. But you've always been faster or some shit, right? Eastborough, in a greasy and cheap coffee shop. In accordance with the previously agreed upon appointment, Klein found old Kohler, who was applying butter to his toast. He glanced at the crumpled cigarettes on the table and smiled. Newly bought? No. It's from the past. I haven't smoked since, but I always carry it with me, occasionally taking it out to sniff. This reminds me of that vagrant life of mine. Back then, I really felt like I could die at any time. Klein took out 20 Soline change, which he had changed earlier, and pushed it across the table. I was very satisfied with the information from last time. Without waiting for old Kohler to give a modest reply, he turned his head to look at the counter. A loaf of oatmeal bread, 2 slices of toast, a block of butter, a serving of beef stew with potatoes, and a 1-pence cup of tea. Mr. Moriarty, did you have dinner yesterday? Old Kohler was stunned. I'll be very busy later and might not have time for lunch. He pretended that he was active and serious. After all, he had received £100 from the prince. Old Kohler didn't ask any more questions. He looked around cautiously while stuffing the notes into his pocket. Wait, hold on. Even Solai are notes? I would have guessed that Solai are just coins. Wait, no. A pence to 12 Solai to 20... No. A pound to 12 Solai to 20 pence. No, so the Solai should have notes. Yeah, never mind. There are some results from the matter you previously asked about. Isaac Egger's bounty comes from a few gang leaders and some intelligence dealers. I don't know who trusted the task to them since it's difficult to make contact. MI9, Klein nodded. That's enough. There's no need to delve deeper. It's too dangerous. Old Kohler heaved a sigh of relief and said, 2 days ago, someone at the Budget Hotel on the Golden Cloak Street saw someone who appeared to be Isaac Eggers. It said the man was practically a carbon copy of the picture taken, of the picture on the bounty notice. Klein's heart palpitated as he smiled. And then? Could it be that the moment I prepared to try for this bounty, the matter is over? And then, with that clue, quite a number of bounty hunters rushed over, but they didn't find anything. Well, they said that there were traces of a fight in that room. The intelligence would definitely be would be sent to MI9 first. Did Isaac have a standoff with them? I wonder what the outcome was. Klein took a glance at the boss, who was coming over with his plate. He pretended to mutter to himself and said to old Kohler, "Take me to Golden Cloak Street later. Maybe I can find some clues." All right, old Kohler agreed without hesitation. A total of 16.5 pence. The boss placed Klein's breakfast in front of him. There wasn't much beef with the potatoes, but the stew was very overcooked. It was obvious that it had been prepared beforehand. After paying the bill, Klein picked up a fork and spoon and said to Old Kohler, "Continue." There aren't many people looking for the believers of the fool anymore, except for a few stubborn bounty hunters. Many unemployed textile women, including some male workers, left the East Borough. What? They left the East Borough? They must have found jobs elsewhere. As for where they went, I don't know. Their families aren't aware? Some left with their unemployed family members, while others had come alone from the city, from outside the city to look for work. Judging from the target's choice, there's something wrong. Could these people once again have been abducted for that whole whatever the fuck is happening that Alger mentioned and Capim was dealing with? Could they just have been abducted? Because what I'm like, I mean, this is good story writing, so it's true for everything, but you don't really take it as such because, you know, there's not good writing everywhere. But like, there should never be a thing that's said or that's in view in like motion or in picture or anything that doesn't have a purpose. So like the fact that they're mentioning that these people left the East Borough can't be for nothing. They must have left for a reason. After making an appointment for the next meeting, he put down the cutlery, wiped his mouth, picked up his hat, and said, "Let's head to the Golden Cloak Street." In the budget hotel on Golden Cloak Street, after the boss accepted a 2 pence tip, he led Klein and Old Kohler to the room, which was suspected to be ASIC's. Vanitas OST at the end of this chapter. I put it in the music channel. Okay, thank you, Kami. There have been many bounty hunters visiting for this period of time. It made me earn quite a bit, so I have maintained its original state. The hotel owner opened the door with his key and pointed inside. Klein glanced at first glance, Klein saw the overturned chairs and rags scattered everywhere. There was no other signs of a fight. With his considerable spiritual perception, Klein cast his gaze under the bed. After staring for 2 seconds, he walked over and bent down to pat the bed. Dust flew into the air with a poof as a grey rat jumped out from under the bed. Jesus Christ. It looked normal, without any problems, but in Klein's spirit vision, its aura only had one color, black and green. I don't know what that's supposed to represent, dude. The rat turned a corner and climbed up a wall, exposing its belly to Klein's eyes. In that soft spot, the flesh was green with flowing pus. One could see that its internal organs had similarly rotted away. Klein thoughtfully looked back at Old Kohler, who wasn't paying attention to the rat. Has the bounty for ASIC been withdrawn? No. Klein examined again and stepped out and said, "Let's go. There are no valuable clues here." Kami, can you put why? Find me some that aren't copyrighted, sure. Okay. I will, okay, once I hear what, Vanitas, however the fuck you say that, sounds, I will see if I can see, I will look after the stream to see if I can find something similar that's not copyrighted, okay? 15 Minsk Street. Klein, who had been busy all day, laid down in his bed and entered the dream world. Scenes that were continuous at all times and at other times fragmented swept past, and all of a sudden, Klein woke up. He knew that he was dreaming. A power has invaded my dreams. He found himself in a suburb of fertile fields. A river flowed over from a distance and made a turn around the cliff in front of him. Wait, the thing. I don't know why I'm guessing. Okay. Nearly 10 men and women wearing black coats or dark jackets surrounded a hidden entrance to the bay. Among them was Klein's acquaintance, Eikenser Bernard. Are they exploring the Amon family tomb? Why would there be scenes in my dream? At that moment, he saw the water on the surface of the river undulate. Rapidly forming a line of white words, your loyal and humble servant, Erides, is here to report to you on the exploration situation. What the fuck? Klein's mouth turned agape, momentarily losing the ability to speak. Then a voice echoed in his head. Tell me, why would a perfectly good mirror be a snitch? What the fuck? Hold on. So I should switch music now. What the fuck? I always knew Erides was... Oh, okay. I do know this. Okay. What the fuck? What is this? Like, I figured it was kind of in some way it was subservient to Klein. What the fuck? That is cool. Okay, so yeah, we'll continue for 49. Okay, you know what? Give me 1 sec. I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, sorry. In an instant, Klein switched to his unfathomable state as the fool who overlooked everything. He nodded and said, "Not bad." Ahead of him, the river surged and white words squirmed and changed before taking shape again. What follows is the exploration process your loyal servant Erides has recorded. You can choose to speed up or skip certain sequences at any time. This motherfucker's a whole ass DVD player. What the fuck? The sentence froze for 2 seconds, and then the scene abruptly zoomed in. Klein instantly appeared beside Eikenser Bernard, but no one noticed him. He looked around and felt that he was surrounded by living people with lifelike scenes. Nothing around his surroundings looked unreal, making him feel as though he was there in person. I can even speed up or skip certain sequences. The original form of this mirror, Erides, is a virtual reality family cinema. What the fuck? Klein couldn't help but lampoon. He took another look at the hive mind members and saw that it was led by an old man in white priest robes and a cleric hat. "Your Grace, everyone is ready," Eikenser approached the elder and said with a bow. "Archbishop, the demigod Heromic Hayden? The hive mind really is cautious and not careless. Who knows, they might have even brought a grade 1 artifact and performed a divination in advance. After all, they're in control of the Mystery Prior pathway." Oh, they're in control of the Mystery Prior pathway? I don't think that's in my notes. I'm just going to add, are you ready to see one of my lord's family tomb? Fuck yeah. I've never been more ready. Hold on, I'm just going to quickly add that. The hive mind is in control of the Mystery Prior pathway. Okay. Sorry, let's continue. However, wait, hold on. After all, no, luckily I can confirm that the Fog's anti-divination or divination interference abilities are similar to the Cards of Blasphemy, allowing the results to be as ordinary as possible and the least bit suspicious, otherwise certain matters might be exposed. However, there's a certain probability that the meeting between Miss Sharon and I will appear, because to me, that isn't something harmful. It depends on whether a wraith's instincts to interfere with divination will affect the hive mind's attempts. Wait, the hive mind is likely to have relied on Erides, and based on its performance just now, It isn't impossible for him to curry favor with me by adding some mosaics, Klein thought in enlightenment. That's awesome. That's why I attended the stream. Okay, fair enough. Alright, I would have thought you just did it for the vibes, but you know what? Fine. Fuck you too. At this point, Hayden drew a triangular sacred emblem on his chest. Begin the operation. God will protect us. Nearly 10 Beyonders headed down as Klein followed closely behind. He didn't fast forward at all. He had always been curious about the combat style of low and mid-sequence Beyonders of the Hive Mind, and he wanted to take this opportunity to experience it. In addition, he was also greatly concerned about how a demigod really did in combat, as well as the secrets hidden in the Amon family tomb. After being ransacked by time in a period spanning 1,000 to 2,000 years, the marble staircases still retained its hardness without any signs of corrosion. See, that by itself is interesting. Like, do they have some time manipulation powers? Why the fuck has this thing been here for, let's say, 1,500 years and shows no sign of decay? The Hive Mind members followed it all the way underground, where they saw the unique asymmetrical stone pillars and axe and blade scuffing from the period of the Fourth Epoch. Devil, how's it going? The pillars stood on either side of the wide road, and in front of them was a large, heavy, dark grey stone double door. The stone door was already open, wide enough for two people to walk alongside each other, and it was completely dark inside. The Hive Mind members were in no hurry to enter. They carefully searched the surrounding areas with lanterns, but found nothing of value. Well, even we got some underground structures that got preserved for thousands of years. It can be natural. Do we have anything that's been preserved for thousands? Oh, I guess under the pyramids and shit. That's like a good point. According to the plan, the first group will begin a preliminary cleanup. With the Archbishop's approval, Eikenser pushed down his hat and compressing his hair. Cleanup? Amidst a puzzlement, the two strongest and burliest male Hive Mind members each laid down a long black box on their backs and opened them. Inside one long box was a sturdy, heavy, iron-black cannon-shaped object. What the fuck? Its surface was engraved with dense arcane patterns. In the other was a complex and exquisite firearm with a chain of pale golden bullets inserted. One of the two Hive Mind members carried the cannon-shaped object and trudged to the open door. Another member picked up the peculiar gun, adjusted the bullet chain, and followed slightly behind. After the two of them glanced at each other, the cannon-shaped object on the former's shoulder rapidly lit up, outlining burning patterns and imprinting before a loud salvo. Boom! A golden fireball akin to a miniature sun flew out from the cannon barrel into the darkness. The ground trembled slightly and an intense light was emitted from the crack. The body of the Hive Mind member who was holding onto the cannon barrel clearly sank a little as his feet trembled. He repeatedly used the Beyonder weapon to launch a golden cannonball one after another at different spots, causing the tome to sway without a speck of dust falling. After he came to a stop, a team member with a peculiar gun stepped forward and pulled the trigger. These guys are just nuking the fucking tomb before even going inside? What the fuck is happening here? American Idiot plays in the background. Fuck yeah! Yeah! After he came to yes. The sound of the machine gun fire echoed as one pale bullet after another flew out, purifying the danger in the depths of the darkness. Isn't this the bombardment effect I've always wanted? Furthermore, they're using Beyonder expendables like purifying bullets and exorcism cannonballs. How extravagant! Isn't this the combat style? Is this the combat style of the Hive Mind? Klein's eyes lit up wide open with his mouth agape. After they're using the American pathway. After the series of savage bombardments, Eikenser raised his voice above the rumbling and said, "Group 2, do the follow-up cleanup." Bro, Do they know you do cleanups after a incursion? They're doing cleanups before they've even gone inside. They're like, just nuke everything. Whatever's left we'll take. If we burn some shit, fuck it. Like, what the fuck? There's more? Klein felt a little numb from what was happening. The second group was also made up of 2 team members who used scrolls made up of a different kind of leather. They chanted simplified incantations, activated the scroll, and tossed them inside. The construct behind the stone door was suddenly shrouded by a gentle and pure light. Droplets of golden holy rain pattered down, cleansing everything. Klein looked at the scene and suddenly found it somewhat ridiculous. Wait, aren't you guys here to engage in archaeological studies? Aren't you professional archaeologists? Aren't you afraid that the tomb would collapse? While these thoughts flashed through his mind, the second team was done, and they shouted at Eikenzer, Deacon, as expected, the construct's structural integrity hasn't been destroyed. They were clearly prepared. Alright, move forward, Eikenzer gave the order. They're doing the most Klein thing. They're doing the thing Klein most hates, wasting money. Dude, unironically, this is like the... have you guys... hold on, let me see. Yeah, like, this is the fucking... This is what they're doing right now. Oh, wait, hold on. This is what they're doing right now. Like, who the fuck even knows what's inside? They're just nuking everything. They're like, fuck it, let's go. This is crazy. Where was I? Alright, continue forward, Eikenzer gave the order. Klein walked in the middle through the stone door and saw piles of dirt and debris on the ground. It was impossible to tell what kind of monsters once had been active there, and no one could guess the functions of the mechanisms that had been set up. After these cleanup procedures, as long as one didn't dodge in advance, no beyond or below that of a high sequence would be able to withstand it. Klein once again gained a deeper understanding of what the aesthetic and violence was like, and what it meant to be simple, direct, and unreasonable. Love it. Where Klein likes nuking people so it balances out. It's prevention on a whole nother level. Yeah. This is, yeah, like, unironically. In what approach, the previous sequences were repeated over and over again. The Hive Mind team members smoothly approached, exploring one area after another, occasionally harvesting some Beyonder characteristics that were beginning to gather. There are no murals. Seeing the main tomb chamber in sight, the Archbishop of the Church, Horamic Hayden, stopped and muttered to himself in puzzlement. Hold on. I don't think I have this guy's name written in my notes. I'm just gonna write. I doubt he'll be important, but fuck it. Better safe than sorry, right? So fuck it. We'll just add it. Who cares? Like, I love how what they mentioned is, where was it? Harvesting some characteristics that were beginning to gather. Like, they didn't actively kill anything. They just went and just blew up stuff, and then like 5 minutes later they were like, oh, here's a thing. Like, they didn't even know what they killed. They were like, oh, probably fucking works out. Klein, who was considered half a historian, was equally puzzled. Generally speaking, a noble family member's grave would more or less express their position and honor when they were alive. When a grave became a tomb or a mausoleum, it was very common for a mural to be used to describe its master's life when possessed enough space. In even older and obscure eras, that wasn't rare. It was even the most common method. The first thing humans learned was drawing and not writing. See, this once again means like this Amon family is really secretive. Like, whatever they do, like, they don't want anyone to know who they were, what their history was, nothing. Just, he will mention later in story, not much though. I don't know what he will mention, but okay. Thus it was strange that there were no similar murals in the tomb of a 4th epoch noble. Upon hearing the Archbishop's question, Eikenzer immediately ordered the men to spread out to search the vicinity for relevant murals. At that moment, he noticed that the 2 hive mind members in the left corner had suddenly turned into 3. One of them looked identical to Eikenzer Bernard with his fluffy hair. This. Klein was stunned before he made a guess. The moment he had a thought, Eikenzer walked over to the team member closest to him and said, "Any discoveries?" The team member turned around warily, but immediately relaxed when he saw it was the deacon. No, but before he could finish the sentence, Eikenzer in front of him had suddenly turned into a piece of human skin and enveloped his body. The pale human skin tightly wrapped around him, and his face began to form the outlines of facial features. During this process, there were no additional sounds, nor were there any abnormal movements that were triggered. All of a sudden, the human skin began to emit rays of light, like the rising of the sun. The human skin immediately turned translucent and quickly soared into the air as if it was being burned. A black whip immediately lashed out of the body, causing its movement to clearly slow down. So, someone or something that may or may not be of the Amon family has the ability to turn into other people. I don't think I know this power yet, do I? What the fuck? Oh, well, I guess... Like, I mean, obviously I know, like, the faceless, but, like... Just keep reading? Okay. Hold on. In such a battle, slowness was an original sin. One Beyonder weapon after another, burning scrolls and pale bullets were released towards the human skin. Oh, the the hunter's human skin. Oh, I see. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, whatever. God. Okay, listen. I'm thinking of pathways, okay? Not Beyonder ingredients. I don't give a fuck about ingredients, okay? Yes, you did indeed miss most of the stream sound. But there's some cool stuff coming, I'm sure. After a brilliant burst of light, countless ashes fell from the sky. All of them coruscated faintly and slowly struggled to gather together. Ingredients are part of pathways. Bro, they're not in my notes. Okay, fuck the ingredients. I don't care. It really is a human-skinned shadow. Okay, never mind. Klein turned his attention to the hive mind members who had just been attacked. The man pulled at his collar and pulled out a protective charm. There were many symbols and magic labels related to the sun on it. Thankfully, the Archbishop got us to wear these things. He held out the lantern and sincerely praised. It was only then that Klein realized that his brooch had the quality of the night. His ring had the intensity of the storm, and his belt exuded the sense of physical strength. Although they aren't all mystical items, most of them are in the category of charms and Beyonder weapons. Even if their effects will quickly decline, they're still worth a lot. If you aren't an artisan or a rich Beyonder, there's no way to gather that much. Is this the combat style of the hive mind? Burning money? Klein suddenly felt a setback, and it took him forever to recover. He was like, "Oh God, they just spent £700 on charms. Oh, the heartache." At that moment, the human skin shadow characteristic gathered and took form. It was a huge diamond with countless sides reflecting light, and each side reflected a different face. The faces were densely packed, layered, and left one dizzy. "I'm just short of it." Klein was overjoyed, and after the hive mind handled their spoils, they continued to search for the murals, but they didn't find any traces. They had no choice but to gather again and head for the passageway that led to the main tomb. Portrait. Interesting. Portrait of the noble who died? I tend to think of Beyonder ingredients as partial characteristics. That's a good way to think of it. Although, to be honest, all the same, I'm not going to write them in my notes. After another series of bombardments, the passage into the main tomb was revealed to the members of the hive mind. The ground was littered with debris. The diamond-shaped Beyonder characteristic that reflected a human face lay silently on the bottom of the right wall, glowing with the light of two other objects. The entire tunnel, including the two walls that lined the sides and the stone ceiling, were filled with potholes. However, one thing remained undamaged. Sorry, give me 1 sec. Okay. It was a frame that was hung up ahead about 7 meters away. It was brown in color and the wood grain was obvious. But only the side of the frame was revealed. Without anyone mentioning, all the Beyonders present could tell it was strange. At this moment, the Archbishop of the church stepped forward and said in a gentle voice, "This is likely to be the spectre portrait frame that belongs to the Amon family according to their records. As long as one walks into its range and is illuminated by it, their spirit body will immediately be separated from their flesh, turning into a portrait and forever being sealed. In this state, even if the portrait is replaced, there's no way to rescue the person without the corresponding methods. If the duration of the sealed is too long, the body will forever be dead. Then, even if one grasps the correct method to remove the seal, the spirit will quickly dissipate." As he moved, Horamek quickly moved forward, step by step, closing in on the strange frame. Hold on, let me just copy this to... Should I put this in the lore section? World building? I'll put it in the lore or world building section, fuck it. Client stream turned into a nightmare? Yeah. I mean, I think they'd be fine. They have a demigod with them. I think they should be fine. And the fact that he's walking close to it, knowing what it is, means probably that he's either immune to it or that he knows the corresponding method to turn it off or some bullshit. Klein was a bit worried, not daring to watch the demigod fight against the sealed artifact, but then he quickly realized that he was just watching a scene provided by the magic mirror. What's there to be afraid of? This is very normal. It's like watching a horror movie or playing a dark game. The demigod archbishop quickly reached the confines of where the mystical item needed to be sealed was. He wore a white priest robe and clerical cap, and his figure gradually appeared in the glass. I think you should make a new section named Random Bullshit. That's actually a good point. I should just make a... miscellaneous section. That's actually a good point. I will do that. Glass. Glass in the 4th epoch? Seems to be the case. There has at least been glass in the 5th epoch's history all this time, and there's been no mention of who invented it. Klein waited with great interest for the battle between the demigod and the sealed artifact. Horamek's upper body fully appeared within the spectre, but his eyes didn't lose their luster. He walked towards the frame, face to face. The silhouette within the painting flickered, as though it was constantly shrinking, but unable to succeed. Horamek stopped, took out a large, almost opaque black cloth that he had long prepared, and covered the spectre portrait. The frame trembled a few times, but in the end it was completely covered by the black cloth and turned silent. Horamek seemed to be unaffected as he effortlessly removed the spectre portrait frame and finished wrapping it with the black cloth before tying a knot on its back. This doesn't make any mystical sense. Didn't you say that your spirit body would be absorbed into the frame and turned into a portrait? Why is the Archbishop fine? No, it's probably that black cloth, because a mirror reflects light, but black is the color that most absorbs it, right? So technically what's probably happening is whatever rays or bullshit that the mirror is putting out, the black cloth is absorbing all of them and protecting the wielder. So that logically makes sense. Is this the uniqueness of the demigod, or because of another reason? Klein sized up Horamek Hayden, but he didn't notice anything out of the ordinary. Yeah, but before he covered it, he didn't get affected? I mean, the black cloth could also be something special. I don't fucking know. His eyes filled with spirit. His expression genial, and he's rich in flesh and blood. It's a pity I'm not there in person. Otherwise, I could activate my spirit vision and take a look. Dude, I feel like if he was in the presence of a demigod, his spiritual intuition would do that thing and tell him like, "Hey, don't look at him." Like, what's that saying? One does not look at God. I would assume that also partially applies to a demigod. Like, hey, don't try to look at their spirit energy because it's too strong. It'll probably just melt you, you know? A random bullshit section where we can just rant about stupid headcanons and things like that. I was referring more to for notes, G. So, like, in my notes, I should have a miscellaneous place where I can just toss in anything that doesn't fit into the other categories, but feels like it's important. Horamek handed the spectre portrait frame to a member of the team and walked towards the main tomb of the Grey at the end of the passage. There was a black stone door filled with scrapes, carved with blades and axes. In the middle of the door was a grayish-white disc. The surface of the disc was divided into 12 segments. There was a black needle, just like a clock from the outside world. However, the segments weren't evenly distributed. They were layers of varying sizes and extremely congruous. Furthermore, each grid had half of its surface covered in a shadow. The coat of arms of the Amon family. Horamek made a brief description. Sorry, I'm just gonna... Again, I don't think it'll be necessary, but fuck it. Just go in the notes at this point. Okay. He didn't explain the symbolic meaning of the coat of arms, because presently only Deacon Eikenser Bernard was qualified to know. Klein, on the other hand, relied on his own knowledge to attempt to decipher it. Disc, 12 segments and a needle, combined together, they clearly represent time. It matches the worm of time which Amon's avatar left. What would be the 12 equal segments on a disc? They're unequal in size, and there's a shadow over a particular portion. Does that mean that the Amon family is the dark side of time? Then where does their title as a blasphemer show itself? While Klein was thinking, Archbishop Horamek pushed open the stone door without any protection. The heavy stone door opened, revealing an extremely spacious tomb chamber. In the center of the chamber was a dais with a deep black coffin on top of it. I don't know what a dais is. A low platform. A low platform. Okay. The surrounding walls were decorated with iron lampstands, each holding a burning candle. All the candles didn't flicker. It was so quiet that it seemed like a scene that was fixed in place, completely devoid of any signs of it suffering the effects of time that spanned 1,000 to 2,000 years. See, they have to have something that affects time. That, the 12 marks on on a disc being their thing. Like, they have something to do with time. It keeps mentioning time with the Amon family. I don't know who the fuck has the ability for time manipulation, but that shit is fucked. Time manipulation is like the most abusable power ever. On the straight path from the stone door to the coffin, there were corpses lying on the ground. They were all wearing black tweed coats, top hats, or even ordinary worker uniforms. It was obvious they had entered in recent years. Sent the coat of arms if you want to see it now. Yeah, sure. Let me pull that up really quickly. That might be valuable. Jesus. Okay. I assume this is referring to the dark side? What time is this showing? This is showing like 12:35 or so. I don't think that has any significance. That's probably that. Or wait, no, hold on. Not the opposite way, no? No, hold on, the opposite way. Like 7:05? Interesting. Okay, very cool. I will see if I can make any heads or tails of it later, but I don't think. Okay, so I think they definitely have to have some time manipulation powers. But how? Or like what pathway? The Beyonders that were previously recruited help. How did they get past the area at the front? The human-skin shadow and the other monsters were clearly alive. With a mind filled with questions, Klein looked at the corpses. What he saw left him shocked. All the corpses had sparse white hair, dry and wrinkled skin, and obvious markings on their skin. They looked like 80 or 90 years old. There were no obvious wounds on their bodies, as though they had died of old age. Furthermore, it appeared as though they had died recently and hadn't even rotted yet. Somehow they're stealing their life force or some bullshit? But then everyone other than the demigod should probably be real scared. Even the demigod should be scared because they can't. Because even demigods can die of old age, right? Only angels and gods are immune. It's very obvious that there wouldn't be this many aged Beyonders exploring the tomb. Even if the discoverers of the tomb were old, they would try their best to choose the young and strong when recruiting helpers. There's something odd. He quickly thought about the worm of time left behind by Amon's avatar and the coat of arms of the Amon family that represented time. Making people age rapidly is one of the Amon family's Beyonder powers. The dark side of time, the loophole in time. Oh, sorry, Kami, I don't mean that they're immortal. I mean that they won't die of old age. I think it's been said that, I think, unless I'm just making up this headcanon, that angels and I'm assuming gods, because if an angel can't die, then how the fuck would a god die of old age? Wait, that's what I meant. Oh, that hasn't been confirmed? We don't know anyone who can die of old age so far? I thought, okay, I could be wrong. The loophole in time. Could it be that as others age rapidly, the members of the Amon family would regain their youth and extend their life? Wait a minute. For these Beyonders to easily barge into a place like this, perhaps it was deliberately on the Tomb Master's part. They wanted to rob them of their time to maintain their own existence. At this moment, the demigod Horamek Hayden raised his left hand and pressed down. You will stop here. Yes, Your Grace. As the members of the official organization, they had read up on a large number of past Beyonder events, and they knew that under similar circumstances, they had to obey the will of a high-sequence Beyonder and could not act rashly, or else they would die without knowing how. Hormik looked ahead, and his eyes fell on the picture frame that hung upside down at the bottom of the dais. His expression didn't change as he continued to walk forward at a leisurely pace. Not making any preparations at all? The hallmark of a demigod is to be rash? Klein was stunned. He seemed to be able to imagine Hormik's teeth dropping, his white hair wilting, and his skin shriveling as he rapidly aged. Okay, Jesus Christ, guys. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step. Hormik, who seemed to be fine, suddenly trembled, and a sharp and piercing grounding sound could be heard from his body. His pace began to slow, his movements became stiff, and his skin visibly dried up. There's something wrong. This isn't the aging process of a normal human. What was the grinding sound just now? Dude, are we gonna see a fucking demigod just straight up fucking die? What is happening? 4 steps. 5, 6. The ripping sounds came from Hormik's body as something fell to the ground. Klein subconsciously looked over and saw a gear. A gear covered in rust. Hormik continued on as items kept dropping from his body from time to time. Rusty screws, melted wax, yellowed bones, and loose springs. His figure became increasingly thin and unsteady as he could collapse at any time. Just like a robot. Well, in this era's terms, like a living doll. You remember that before old Neil died, he said that the Church of Earth Mother had a Sequence 4 who was good at alchemical life, and that the Savant Pathway's corresponding sequence was barely able to do so as well. As for Hormik, he was a high sequence Beyonder of the Savant Pathway. The Hormik in front of him isn't the real him, just a refined doll. Just now, the reason why the Spectre portrait frame was ineffective was that he doesn't have a spirit body. Oh, that's so clever. The real Hormik should still be far away, as expected of a demigod. Amidst Klein's enlightenment, the Archbishop walked up to the dais. Hormik goaded. Dude, actually, what the fuck? The Archbishop walked up to the dais, bent down his knees and back up, and turned the upside-down frame over. Fair enough, Kami. That was cool as fuck. Generally speaking, when exploring a tomb involving Beyonder ingredients, it was necessary to flip items over, but this time, Hormik made the opposite choice. Following the flipping of the portrait frame, a wind suddenly blew in the sealed tomb, dispersing the formless imprisonment in silence. The candles on the iron-colored light fixture rapidly ignited, becoming unusually bright. However, they soon reached the end of their lives and melted away. The old corpses on the ground rapidly rotted and stank. Whoa. So it was like it fast-forwarded time and then just stopped it in its tracks. Once a thing was dead, it didn't allow them to rot, or like the candles were just in a steady state. Interesting. In a few seconds, the tomb's main character had turned dark, leaving only the lanterns that the Hive Mind members were holding on to barely illuminate the area. Hormik picked up the picture frame from the floor and went up the stairs to the dais. He came to the black coffin, stretched out his right palm, and forcibly pushed it open. The heavy coffin lid opened up with a cracking and creaking sound, as though it wasn't nailed shut at all. Hormik looked down and said in the same unchanging voice, "There's no corpse." What the fuck? As the scene drew nearer, Klein saw the coffin's interior was empty except for a pale gold cushion embroidered with a worm with 12 rings. Isn't that the one that Amon had? At that moment, the Hormick turned around and the picture frame in his hand was reflected in the eye of Eikenzer and the others. With just a glance, Klein's gaze suddenly froze. Wait, Hormick turned around and the picture frame in his hand was reflected in the eyes of... The picture frame he's holding was the upside down one, right? The one that he flipped over and that... Hold on. Yeah, okay. It was the portrait of a smiling young man. He had black eyes and curly black hair. He had a broad forehead and thin face. He wore a crystal monocle hung over his head. He wore a black pointed hat. Amon. What the fuck? Okay, hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold up. Hold up. Hold on. What do I make of this? So, like, what's immediately coming to mind is that Amon tricked members of his own family to pretend like he was dead so that he could go off on his own. Because he would pretend to be dead. His family would then build a mausoleum for him, to honor his memory. But in reality, he just had like a body double or some shit, which eventually, as time went on, withered away into that a worm of time, or like an avatar of his, or whatever the fuck you call it. And then he could go off and do his own business without being hassled by the family. That's what's coming to mind. Or I guess Amon in the past could have come here, taken the Beyonder characteristic of whoever was actually there, and then just threw away the corpse or some bullshit to get to a higher sequence. Interesting. Okay. I don't know. Okay. 440. What the fuck, dude? Okay, this just gets more and more interesting. What is happening? Amon. Klein said the word in his mind. He had originally thought that the blasphemer who appeared in the Forsaken Land at God's City of Silver was a descendant of the ancient family like Amon. Through inheriting the legacy of his ancestors, step by step, he stepped into the demigod ranks. To his surprise, it was very possible that the particular person who could very well have lived for more than 2,000 years and was a member of the Amon family when it was at its peak. Why would he, for no reason, build a tomb for himself? Did he fake his death to get out of a situation, or is there another reason? Adjust the font to center. Alright, fine. I saw it was off center, but I was too lazy. Alright, fine, hold on. I have to do it manually because fucking OBS is just garbage. God. Okay. Okay. Or is there another reason, such as leaving traces so as to have time fixed onto his body? I don't even know what the fuck that means. He was able to live from the 4th epoch to the 5th, all because he was siphoning the lives of others. I already guessed that he's a sequence 3 or 2. Based on what I've seen today, it's not impossible for him to be a sequence 1. After all, long periods of time would eventually bring about an intrinsic improvement. Klein switched back and forth between puzzlement and speculation. His thoughts were like boiling water, gurgling non-stop. The Horamic doll tugged at his throat and accidentally pulled off a piece of skin, revealing the complicated mechanical structure within. His voice came out from that spot and brought with it the impression of leaking air. Search the corpses on the ground. Do not come any closer. Yes, Your Grace. The corpses on the ground had long since produced their Beyonder characteristic, some of them even combined with certain parts of their body to form a terrifying mystical item. In addition, the dead carried all sorts of items with them. The machinery hive mind has reaped quite a harvest this time. Together with a spectre portrait frame and a human skin shadow characteristic, this completely makes up for the crazy expenses of the cleanup. A huge investment for a huge return. Klein inhaled, tore his gaze away, and followed Horamic, who didn't carry a lantern, to the wall on the other side of the coffin. At this moment, the magic mirror, Eridas, brightened up the scene, allowing the things in front of him to be seen clearly. Dude, Eridas is my fucking goat. What the fuck? He's doing like color correction and like editing to help his like holy shit. This is great. Klein saw that the wall across from him had become mottled due to the rapid weathering just now. Many of the murals had been destroyed and could no longer be restored to their original states. The only one that was complete and could barely be seen clearly was a colorful mural at the top of the wall, which took up a small half of the dome. It described a towering mountain range, the Hornaces mountain range. On the highest mountain peak, there was a huge cross that was taller than the mountains. The cross in front of the layers of radiance, making it seem unusually holy. In front of it, a tall and domineering figure could vaguely be seen. The mountain range was like a pet that lay prostrate at its feet. You know what sound? A wise person is able to change their opinions when given new information, okay? Eridas just helped out our guy immensely. Without this, Klein would have missed out on so much exposition. Because the hive mind wouldn't have told him any of this. They'd have been like, fuck off. But Eridas was like, no, I shall give my master the information he requires. Without even asking. What a fucking guy. Guy? What a great thing? That feels weird to say. I don't know. This figure was surrounded by 2-winged, 4-winged, and 6-winged angels. They were holding up bugles, playing harps, or playing flutes, looking pious and sprightly. At the foot of the mountain range, 2 12-winged angels were humbly walking towards the mountaintop, each holding a baby in their arms. What the fuck is happening here? What am I reading? The baby on the left had curly black hair, and on the right had pale blonde hair. One of their eyes was black, the other was golden. So the one on the left is Amon. Who is the one on the right? Elsewhere in the mountain range, there was a vague depiction of a giant with chains at its legs and a dragon that had its legs bound and was never able to land. I'm sorry. I didn't know what the fuck I was walking into today. Hold on. He then, wait, hold on. Yes. Horamic first looked at the baby on the left, and his genial expression became increasingly serious. He said in a low voice, Amon. Then he turned to the baby on the right, and after a few seconds of silence, said another name. Adam. Amon, Adam. As Klein repeated the names, he felt that the fog that hung over the history of the Fourth Epoch and the Third Epoch was growing thicker. He combined all the information he had learned and quickly made a guess. On the mountaintop, the figure... Okay, let me copy paste it. Okay, hold on. Okay. Adam. Is that like Amon's brother? No, not there. What the fuck? Because they're carrying them equally, and it's two seraphims. It's two seraphims carrying them. Two seraphims carrying them. Seraphims are the highest level of angel, and they're carrying Amon and Adam. Okay. He combined all the information he had learned and quickly made a guess. Ooh, yes, please. On the mountaintop, the figure in front of the glowing cross is surrounded by angels. The giants and dragons submitting to it. It's definitely a god that's at sequence 0. Another being who likes to partially use the cross as a symbol is the true creator. It's said that Amon is a descendant of an ancient sun god, but the one at the top of the mountain doesn't seem like a pure sun god. Hold on. Yeah, shut the fuck up, Nightwalker. Okay, hold on. So, does my... You know what? Sorry, let me finish reading the theory, and then I will try to backtrack it to my theory. Okay, let me finish reading this section. Okay. No, never mind. Could it be that he is the Lord that created everything? The omniscient, omnipotent, omnipotent that the City of Silver believes in? This is in accordance with the legends of the City of Silver, the awakening of the creator who stripped the King of Giants and the Dragon of Imagination and other ancient deities of their authorities. The so-called ancient sun is actually the Lord that created everything as spoken about in the City of Silver. He may be in charge of domains such as sun and time. In addition, the authorities of the Giant King, Ormir, the Dragon of Imagination, Ankvold, has likely returned to him. This can no longer be completely contained within sequence 0. Oh my goodness. Does that basically confirm my theory? That there's something above a sequence 0? Hold on. I'm so excited. So the original Amon was the descendant of the City of Silver. Of the City of Silver's Lord that created everything. The omnipotent, omniscient God, who inherited the Beyonder characteristic of the time domain. This seems to slightly explain why he remained silent in the City of Silver's dungeon for decades. Does it? Apart from him, there's also another descendant of the Lord that created everything, named Adam. What did Adam inherit? Does he still have a descendant alive? And if so, where would he be? Why does he think they have a descendant? That's so interesting. Okay. What's the relationship between the true creator and that person? Is it simply an imitation using the creator's title and the symbol of the cross? Or is there some deeper connection between the two? Okay, hold on. Let me cook, okay? Let me cook. Okay, no, you know, I'm keeping this, okay. Let me cook, okay. So we just, because... Okay. So, let's say my theory is right, okay? Which Klein also kind of states, so I think there's a higher chance that it's right now, okay? 3 pathways, I don't know which ones, okay? Omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent God, okay? Triple OG, okay? Okay, right? So let's say somehow this being that presides over 3 domains or 3 pathways has a child. I don't even know how the fuck a being above gods has kids. Fuck me if I know. Don't ask me, okay? Let's say they have a kid. Assuming... assuming that gods follow the same rules that higher sequence Beyonders have to, that their kids can receive any amount of their Beyonder characteristic decided by them, okay? They make a kid through photosynthesis. Shut the... Okay? Right? So they have a kid. But now, because they're not just of a high sequence of a pathway, so they can't just... So they don't just have the ability to decide, like, okay, I'm a sequence 4, I can make them as strong as a sequence 5, 6, 7, whatever. They have the ability to not only choose a place in a sequence, but choose from several sequences. So let's say, like in my mind, Klein imagines that Triple OG here had 2 kids, Amon and Adam. I'm not trying to spell it out because writing in Paint fucking sucks, okay? All right? And then they had a bunch of kids, and eventually this is the Amon that we're seeing, and who the fuck knows what happened to Adam, okay? Because we haven't heard from him, okay? But in my mind, this is the original Amon, and this is the original, and assuming he's alive, this is the original Adam. Or like what we're seeing right now, like who we saw right now is the original Amon. Because what they described looked perfectly like him. Curly hair, black eyes. Now, that could just be like, again, you generally look like your predecessors because, you know, genetics. But kind of suspicious. He would look a little different, you know? So I think it's the original. I think this is Amon number 1, okay? The OG. The OG born from the triple OG, okay? And then so Amon, as the son of the triple OG, was given a place in one of the pathways. Let's say he was born a sequence 4, for example, of one of the pathways under control of the triple OG. Adam, assuming he's alive, well, I guess even if he's dead, doesn't really matter, was given a pathway that was different from his. So he was given, let's say, sequence 3 of a separate pathway, giving them different powers, but making them relative in power. I don't know. This could also just be sequence 4. Who the fuck? So they would be old as fuck? Yeah, they'd be old as fuck. But again, in my mind, Kami says this wasn't stated. I feel like it was, but I'm misremembering. Okay, in my mind, it was stated that high sequences live a really long life. So like 4 and 3 live really long lives, and angels 2 and 1 don't die of old age. I feel like that was stated. I might be getting this wrong, but in my mind, a lot, and even if it wasn't stated, fuck it, I can make this hypothesis that an angel doesn't die of time. An angel can be killed, like in if we're going off mythology, an angel can be killed. An angel can die to a devil, to a demon, to a higher angel. That happens. But an angel doesn't just die of old age. Like, they don't turn 4,000. They're like, ugh. That doesn't happen, okay? Okay, I believe you, Kami. Okay, I am saying. Let's say it wasn't stated. I'm making the hypothesis that they can be. So either way, I believe these two, if they're alive, are the OGs. And not a descendant as Klein claims. Okay? That's it. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it. Let's get back to reading. Fuck's sakes. I've been live for 2.5 hours. I still have 2 chapters to go. This is cooked. I'm going so slow today. What's the relationship with the true creator and that person? Is it simply an imitation by using the creator's title and the symbol of the cross, or is there some deeper connection between the two? Klein didn't let his doubts show much. After all, the magic mirror Eridas could be sizing him up. What the fuck? Horamek stared at the mural for a while, and then he suddenly took a few steps forward and pressed his extended palm against the wall. Without a sound, the majestic mural disintegrated, turning into pieces of stone fragments that landed on the ground. Even the color quickly evaporated, disappearing without a trace. The church is consciously concealing the history of the 3rd and 4th epoch? Are the other churches the same? Klein frowned and followed the Horamek doll to the other side. It's likely that in purely the history of to do purely the history of through purely knowing the history of the third and fourth epoch, it'd probably give you some great knowledge. That's why the churches know it, and they're like, we're gonna hide it from everyone else. Get fucked, pussy. After making a half circle, they discovered another thing. A stone door, which only had an outline, loomed in the corner. At this moment, Hormic's doll's joints were constantly creaking, but this didn't stop him from quickly approaching the stone door and reaching out with his right hand to attempt to push. At this moment, the Hormic's doll joints were constantly creaking. No, I already read this. Above the stone door, there was a sudden burst of aqueous light that condensed into a scene that looked so real and that seemed to be possible to directly touch it. Dark blue waves were surging forward, and there was a dark black mist that looked like liquid. A craggy mountain protruded from the mist, constantly flowing into viscous liquids. Behind this mountain, the black mist seemed endless, and there was no end to it in sight. There was also no limit to its depth. The deeper one looked, the more placid it felt. It was as if if something fell in, it would fall forever. What is this place? Klein's expression didn't change as he muttered inwardly. Hormix retracted his palm and watched as the scene gradually faded until it disappeared. He leaned his head back and sighed to himself. The abyss. Kami, what are you talking about? I did 7 chapters in 2.5 hours. I started at 4:41 today, man. Is that stream titled incorrectly? No. You having a stroke? The abyss. The source of all corruption? It said that an abyss can even corrupt a true god. Klein was amazed, but as a former clown, he regulated his expressions and limbs to appear unperturbed. He immediately thought of something. Roselle, who was exploring the fog sea, had once deviated from his path, leaving behind a puzzling sentence. I saw the abyss. Klein pondered the layers of waves that were surging towards the black fog and made a conjecture. There's an entrance to the abyss somewhere in the fog sea. Immediately after, he looked towards the stone door. He suspected that Amon, who looked around the city of Silver, had employed a certain ritual. After finishing the tomb, he didn't depart from it normally. Instead, he used a special tunnel to head for the abyss. Thus, in the eyes of most people, he was already dead. Ah. Next stream is in next stream is actually in 3.5 hours. Fuck's sakes. Okay. There's gonna be like a 2 or 3 hour gap in between, probably 2.5 to 3 hour gap between the streams. I just want to go eat, play with my niece and nephew for a bit, and then I'll be back. And then we will officially get right up into the ending of Volume 2. Let's fucking do this, man. Fuck, I'm gonna be late then. Alright, no worries. No worries. Please, sleep in. You have an exam. Where the fuck? I lost my spot. Okay, hold on. Whether the City of Silver or the Forsaken Land of the God was located somewhere in the abyss, Klein couldn't be sure. After all, the history of the tomb was at least 1,500 years old, so Amon had plenty of time to use the abyss to go somewhere else. Would he still occasionally come back to siphon off time? If he finds out that someone has dug up his grave, the expression on his face would definitely be marvelous, Klein rejoiced. At this moment, the Hormic doll held his left hand in his right palm and abruptly twisted it. With a creaking sound, his left hand was bent at the wrist, but there were no bones that pierced the skin. Spewing out flesh and blood, there was a heavy metal black tube inlaid with his left wrist. His entire left arm was a small caliber mystical cannon. To hide a mole of advanced technology, he truly is worthy of being from the hive mind. Alright, Good night, Nagato. I appreciate you popping by, bud. If I don't see you on the other stream, totally fine. I know you have an exam. If I don't see you, good luck on the exam. However, the requirements and costs for such a thing are too high. Clearly, it could be provided to specific personnel, but not to military troops. Klein felt that today was an eye-opener for him, an opportunity to see the development in the mysterious world. The only problem is that beyonder characteristics are conserved, artisans are limited, and not many things can be mass-produced. The Horimic doll put his left wrist guarding against the stone door. Inside his body, the sound of gears grinding against each other as they revolved emitted as an intense spirituality radiance. A ray of light that was as bright as day appeared and disappeared. The stone door suddenly turned into pure powder, as if it had never existed. He destroyed the door? If Blasphemer Amon encounters an emergency situation and attempts to return and finds the door gone, that'd be fun. This was the end of the Amon family tomb's exploration. The scene surrounded Klein quickly shrank and became the background. An illusory, ancient, bizarre silver mirror appeared in midair. Your loyal servant Eridas has finished reporting and is ready to serve you again any time. Well done. You may leave first. Yes, the mighty existence above the spirit world. Excuse me? Okay, hold on. Sorry, I gotta put this in my notes. What the fuck? Hold on. Lore? I guess I don't even know where to put this. What? Okay, this has to have something to do with the... It has to have something to do with the... hold on. This has to do with something above the place above the Grey Fog. After confirming that its power had left his dream, Klein thoughtfully said to himself, "The mighty existence above the spirit world. It really has vaguely sensed the Grey Fog. Does this magic mirror have a wicked sense of humor that wishes... does this mirror with a wicked sense of humor wish to rely on me, or does it have another purpose? I have to watch carefully. Otherwise, with it at the hive mind, I don't want to be repeatedly blasted with cannon fire." Rounding up his thoughts, Klein began looking forward to the next day. After the hive mind tidied up their spoils, they were likely to get him to choose an item. Please, fucking... Please. Yeah, please become Sequence 6 today. In this stream, I can't keep doing this forever. I've been saying this for the past 7 streams. My divination means nothing anymore. I've lost all credibility, please. I wait any longer and Milos making fun of me for not having that good predictions is just gonna be true. Fuck. No. It was mentioned before. Hold on. We already know above the spirit world thing. It was said in Door of Summoning, I think. Yeah, during the first summoning of the Tarot Cloud, we got a description of the Grey Fog being above the spirit world. Motherfucker, I'm supposed to remember that? The first summoning of the Tarot Club? Chapter 4 or 7 or some bullshit? Do you want me to remember this? You're out of your fucking mind. That's a ridiculous expectation to have. Come on. Okay. First time we tried to summon things, not the first tarot club. First time we tried to summon things. Yeah, brother, I got no shot, okay? I appreciate you letting me know that it was known before. Fucking, I know it. Okay. Okay, in Empress Borough, inside the opulent villa of Earl Hall. The little son did the ritual was mentioned. The Grey Fog is above the 7 lights. I believe you guys. Fuck, bro. Fuck me if I remember that, bro. Later, it was also said that the 7 lights were above the spirit world and the Grey Fog is above the 7 lights. Okay, I don't remember that. Dude, guys, I don't know why you're getting so heated. I believe you. I believe it was said. I'm just saying, like, I'm only internalizing that information now. I apologize for it, but goddamn. The 7 lights are said to be above the spirit world, and no matter where we see it, oh, I see. Okay, cool. Okay. The cold air, dude. I need to have a fucking emote. I'm gonna make a couple of emojis or like stuff for stream. I need to try to what are your thoughts on Eridus though? I think Eridus uses the spirit world for its knowledge base, let's say. Like, let's say Eridus is accessing one of the 7 lights for knowledge, for example. But then whoever is the ruler of the palace above the Grey Fog, as they're above the spirit world, they kind of reign over it, and as such, Eridus kind of... Every definition uses spirit world? Okay, thank you. So then, as the ruler of the Grey World above the spirit world, Grey Fog above the spirit world, Eridus is kind of like a... like, Eridus is basically like a fucking furniture piece for the Grey Fog. I don't even know how to phrase this, but like he's gotta be goaded. Like, he's gotta be goaded. And if he's actually like this and it's not some kind of trick played by someone or something, which I don't think it is, that Eridus would become so unbelievably helpful for Klein. I don't know how he would be able to... I don't know how he would be able to... I don't know how Klein would be able to access him since he's currently on... Sorry, since it's currently in the possession of the Hive Mind. But if Klein can somehow access him like he did tonight, we're chilling. Klein can just ask for so much info. Like, Klein could just go to bed and be like, show me how to cleanse the corruption of the true creator. Or like the corruption of a evil deity from an object. And then he figures out the ritual. Cleans the sequence 5, like Rosego's eyeball. Plops that in as soon as he's done with the sequence 6. And like, bang, he's chilling, you know? Or like stuff like that. He could do whatever. Okay, sorry. I've been talking for way too long. I gotta get back to reading. What the fuck is happening? The cold air was kept out by the windows and walls. The building's interior was warm as though it was spring, and the fireplace was elegant. Audrey Hall was having her measurements taken by the fashion designer, Mrs. Jeannie, so that she could create a costume for Audrey for the New Year's banquet in consideration of her recent physical and emotional state. At this moment, her personal aide, Annie, came close to her ear and whispered, "Lady Escalante is here." Such a fast response. "Please, get her to wait in my art studio for 5 minutes. Art studio? Yes. I'd like to ask her to admire my recently completed oil painting. She says that content is painted... She said that content that is painted in a relaxed state allows one to express their true thoughts and emotions." Yes, miss. Less than 5 minutes later, Audrey entered a studio and saw Escalante admiring the paintings. That's Mr. Sensei's Inner Heart Night, a masterpiece that allows one to feel at peace. Sensei's Inner Heart Night, one of the top 10 works of last year's top 100-century-old painting that the Tassoc Times voted for. Escalante was obviously the type of person who often read newspapers. Yes, Audrey replied. I actually had the honor of seeing the real deal, Escalante said. She swallowed back the words. This is at least worth a manner, unwilling to appear too Philistine. Audrey didn't continue introducing the other paintings. She found a reason to send Annie away and motioned for Susie to stand guard at the door. Jesus Christ. Susie read her hint without any hindrance, wagged her tail, and scampered out. Escalante closed the door, and before Audrey could ask, she took the initiative and said, "We have both the human skin shadow characteristic and the wind-blessed potion formula. However, there is no need for us to sell it unless the other party is able to provide an irresistible offer. The willingness to negotiate means there's hope. What do you wish to receive in return?" You need a spirit one. Hold on. Wait, what? Did I say Annie? Am I having a stroke? The willingness to negotiate means there's hope. Audrey's green eyes darted slightly as she said with a chuckle, "What do you wish to receive in exchange?" 2,500 pounds for the human skin characteristic. That's crazy. 3,000... Annie the maid. Oh, Annie the maid. Oh, I see. I was like, wait, did I just call Audrey Annie? I was like, what the fuck? Okay, we need to ask Annie. 3,000 pounds for the wind-blessed formula. What the fuck? Quite a huge premium. Although Audrey didn't find them expensive. Oh god, I love how they have to add that. Although Audrey didn't find them expensive, of course, Tuesday dinner for her, she lamented the fact that the Psychology Alchemist had a premium exceeding 50%. According to the description given by the Hanged Man, under normal circumstances, the formula for sequence 6 would cost less than £2,000. But the closer it was to a high sequence, the fewer potion formulas there were to circulate, making them difficult to buy. There were no normal situations, and what was even more important was that even if one chanced upon a sale, it was very difficult to ascertain authenticity. If the other party can barter with mystical items, all that's needed is for them to be of roughly the same value. That's to say, you want mystical items more and can accept a price reduction for them. The Psychology Alchemists are one of the youngest secret organizations. They clearly haven't accumulated enough in this area compared to others. I'll inform them, but I can't guarantee that they'll accept it. She wasn't the least bit worried that the alchemist would notice that she hasn't been involved in any Beyonder gatherings recently. After all, her schedule was rather tight. Afternoon tea, music lessons, dinners, dances, equestrian training, language lessons, dancing lessons, and so on. There were so many opportunities for her to interact with different people. In that case, perhaps a particular dinner was a cover for a Beyonder gathering, or perhaps a music teacher was a senior Beyonder. It was impossible for them to know. Having said this, Audrey casually asked, "Miss Escalante, I thought you wouldn't sell the Wind-Blessed Potion formula since it's already at a sequence 6. Can she back them? Oh yeah, I should have realized myself. That's silly. Yes. Yes. Okay, there we go. I forgot to mention this. I did recently set up memberships for the channel. I don't expect you to buy them by any stretch. I appreciate all of you watching, but if you have a couple of extra bucks a month, maybe consider it. I do plan on eventually doing early streams for them and stuff, but I mean, that'll be a ways down. I just wanted to mention it. Where the fuck was I? If there's a chance, it might be more useful to spread this information out, Escalante answered vaguely. In her mind, although Miss Audrey was a new member who had a high level of importance attached to her by the organization, she was still a new member after all. There are many things she couldn't know about. Why? Audrey suppressed her doubts and smiled sweetly. She asked innocently, Miss Escalante, if this deal succeeds, can you count it as my contribution? Escalante broke into a laugh. Yes. Sounds good, Kami. Klein busied all morning until he returned to Minsk Street. He filled his stomach and prepared to rest. Only then did he have the time and opportunity to listen to prayers above the grey fog. Someone on Miss Justice's side has the human skin shadow characteristic? Seriously? Either it doesn't come or it comes in pairs. Klein was suddenly left in the throes of happiness from having a choice. Even if he counted the £500 from the hanged man, which he still hadn't been paid, he only had £1,300. This didn't prevent him from seriously considering the request for a deal. After thinking for a dozen seconds or so, he passed the justice's words to the hanged man to see what choice the latter would make. £3,000? Alder Wilson, who was still in the Rorstead archipelago, as capital, the city of generosity, felt as if someone had struck him hard. Do we have confirmation between seasons? They said it was seasonal, but I don't think it's going to be 3 months. Nothing's been... No, Kami, I doubt it's going to be 3 seasons, man. 3 months. It's probably going to be a year. It's probably going to be like a summer... it's probably going to be like a summer annual thing, like summer 2025, summer 2026 probably. If I had to guess, but I mean, I don't know offhand. No worries, Romero. I just thought I should mention it. No pressure, guys, at all, okay? I don't, I appreciate every single one of you watching regardless. Lower membership? Oh yeah, I can set that up. Username? Yeah, that's no worries. I'll write it in my notes. I'll set it up tonight. I'm already doing Boofy and Easy, so it's a lower price. Who the fuck is Boofy? Who the fuck is Boofy? Is another web novel creator? Boofy's brain. I love the 2 responses back to back. Another web novel creator, brain rot. Okay, sorry. Where was I? After he became the captain of the Blue Avenger, he sometimes played the role of a pirate and sometimes a law enforcer, secretly exterminating several groups of pirates. But even so, the total value of his spoils of war didn't exceed £2,000, and a portion of it had to be distributed to the sailors under him. Of course, this didn't include the ships and cannons which were captured, as they had to be handed over to the church. This made Alder often sigh that most pirates weren't rich, and that they were used to squandering on having opulent lives. Liquor, barbecue, whores, marijuana, gambling had drained the pirates of their money. Is he fully finished, Lord of the... Unless I meet a pirate crew with Beyonders, it would be very difficult to get rich so suddenly. Alder paced a few steps, then he made up his mind. He then took out a gold mask from his undergarment pocket. This mask had rough facial features, and the way they were formed had the characteristic of a primitive human from an ancient forest. What the fuck? Alder sat down and humbly recited, "The fool. I'm willing to use this mystical item to barter for the blessed potion formula. As long as the user wears this mask, they will become extremely calm and emotionless. At the same time, they will also obtain a strong regenerative ability, exaggerated speed, and outstanding strength, as well as a certain grasp of black magic and primitive curse techniques. Its weakness is that the number of times it's used increases. The wearer will become more and more unlike a human. They will turn colder and colder, eventually treating themselves as a god. That doesn't sound that bad at all. That seems fine. Sitting in his seat as the fool, Klein looked up at the 500-pound note in front of him. The 5 strands of dark blue hair as thick as a tiny snake and the simple golden mask. He tapped the edge of the long table, carefully thinking about what items he could use for a trade. The all-black eye? Certainly not. This is the main ingredient for a sequence 5. It's just short of having Little Sun obtain the method of removing corruption. I can't even enjoy Black Myth Wukong because my brain auto-ignores the cultivation, so get the fuck out of here, Amir. The story is really good. Even if you can't enjoy it during your playthrough, watch some videos on it later, because the story is really, really good. The Black Emperor card. This card cannot see the light of day, as it has a value countless times higher than that. Mr. Azek's Copper Whistle? At the moment, its only function is summoning the messenger, and it's an important tool for communication. The Copper Whistle of the Numinous Episcopate, who left behind white feathers? Similarly, it can only summon a messenger, but the target on the other side of the messenger seems to be very dangerous. The Sun Brooch. This is something I want for myself. It effectively makes up for my weakness. Master Key? It involves Mr. Door and has too many hidden secrets. Biological poison bottle? This is very compatible with my spirit body state. Demon hunting bullets? They're not mystical items and are considered consumable weapons. They're of very low value. Book of Secrets? This isn't a mystical item either. At present, the only Beyonder characteristic of an interrogator can be sold. However, the psychology alchemists want mystical items. Furthermore, the trading venue is backland, so it'd be easy to expose information pertaining to the hero bandit Black Emperor. Klein took this opportunity to sort out what he had and finally came up with a perfect plan. He first took the form of Mr. World, manipulating him to take up a praying pose, and he said with a hoarse voice, "I accept the price of £2,500, but give me 2 days to raise the money." Why the fuck would he take that characteristic? Why would he take the human skin characteristic? What? Immediately following that, Klein threw the reply scene of the Hanged Man and the world to the Crimson Star, which symbolized Miss Justice. After receiving affirmation from Miss Justice, Klein waited patiently all afternoon at Minsk Street. It was late afternoon when the Hive Mind member Carlson rang his doorbell. Klein didn't say anything further. Oh wait, is he going to accept something else from the Hive Mind then? But why? What? Klein didn't ask any further. He followed the man to the Lever Cathedral near the West Balam dock and entered a 3-story building next to the cathedral. The sign wrote, Backland Institute for Mechanical Research. How academic. Klein suddenly thought of the Blackthorn Security Company and cracked the corners of his lips into a smile. Under Carlson's guidance, he passed through some strange devices and found himself in a windowless room. On the long table in front of him, there were many items, including the human skin shadow characteristic and the spectre portrait frame, which was covered in a black cloth, but there were no characteristics left behind by dead Beyonders. Obviously, the higher-ups don't want me to know about the law of indestructibility and conservation. You can choose one. Icons are pointed at the table. Klein scrutinized the items several times before sighing. There's nothing I want. If I were to convert it into gold, how much would I get? Oh, clever. He had already made up his mind that he wouldn't obtain the human skin characteristic from the hive mind. Although this could be explained as the need to create some mystical item or try out some unique ritual, there was still a chance of exposing his own sequence. In a situation where there was a better choice, Klein didn't want to take the risk. Thus, he only intended to take money. Not only would this help him gather the 2,500 pounds that the psychology alchemist quoted, he could also effectively dispel the hive mind's wariness towards him. Eikenzer was visibly relieved. He smoothed his hair and said with a smile, 1,500 pounds. However, we encourage you to choose money, so a total of 2,000. Klein said with a smile, alright. That's, yay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So he's got, oh my god, okay. So he's gotta level up at 450, right? He's gotta be sequence 6. I can't have him not take the next sequence and next sequence on next stream, okay? Otherwise we're so cooked. Oh, hold on. Okay. Okay. Klein, nope, not what I intended to do. Divination. Klein gets his bag coin flip. Klein becomes sequence 6 during the next stream. If this fucking says no, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Thank the goddess. Oh my god. Oh my god. Thank the goddess. Okay, next stream. Next stream. We are so cooking. Alright. Artwork, and then next stream is in 3 hours. Yes, Ramiro. I'm just gonna quickly work through this. Oh, this is so cute. I love this. This is also really, really well done. Novels due to I don't fucking that's adorable. Oh, this is so good. The detail on this, like this netting or whatever in the sun, that's so good. this is oh, that's so cute. The scroll is the seat, everything. This is not my art style, and that face is not great. I'm not gonna lie to you, but in general, I like it. She looks so exhausted. She looks. Oh, that is so cute. Lady, you gotta pick up your suitcase. Someone's gonna steal it. This is background. This is crazy. Adasak. My god, he really does look like an aristocrat. Look at him. He also looks a little skeevy behind the eyes, you know? Like all princes do. They're like scheming. They're like, we'll take advantage of him. If he's not helpful, we'll kill him, sort of thing. Crazy shit. Hi, nice to meet you. Are you... What the fuck? I love this. This is great. I love this. It's so good. Although in fairness, it would make sense because Leonard is there. He's like, you have secrets. You know, I too have some. Some people are just born special. Glenn's like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? uh, this is so good. I love this. Sorry. Jesus. Okay, I did not need to be reminded of this, okay? Oh, I love this. Okay. I don't even need to read, I don't even need to be able to read the rest of it. I just know, like, this is referring to how old Neil was like, no, just leave me be. I'll be back to normal tomorrow. And if they actually believed him, he'd come into work, fucked up, eyes everywhere, no body. And he's like, don't worry, I can still teach you the rituals. I know all the stuff. I know all the stuff. Don't you worry about it. Just as a quick heads up, I'm just going to click on here and then pop right. For fuck's sakes. I'm trying to get rid of the one. It really bothers my autism when it's there. Fuck. Alright, I'm just going to... No, come on. Come on. Okay, Okay, there we go. Done. Okay, sorry. It really bothers me if it's there, okay? I can't help it. Sue me. I didn't read anything. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone, for a great stream. I'm going to leave it there so that you guys have some time to do your own personal shit. I will see you guys in 3 hours. All right, and we will get to we'll get Klein to sequence 6 faceless. Let's fucking go. Username. There are no trials in my area. Okay, we don't do that bullshit. We don't do those witch hunts here. Fuck them. Let them try. All right, that's it. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your day or nights, and I'll see you soon. Hopefully. Thank you so much, guys.